Chiefs fans, this is the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show, presented by CBD American Shaman. Life is better with the feather.
We had to discuss the name of the stadium. Patrick Mahomes, after the game, let us know that they didn't think they had any cigars in the locker room, but they'd figure it out by the time they got to Glendale. The wide receiving core was falling apart. The Chiefs' defense suffered injury after injury after injury, both sides of the ball. And at the end of this war of attrition to punch the ticket to Arizona for the Super Bowl, with a straight-up NFL bloopers-style play from Patrick Mahomes putting the game in danger, with a career-defining game from Chris Jones, huge plays from Marquez Valdes-Scantling, cementing his role in Kansas City, and so much more, leads the Kansas City Chiefs back once again to the Super Bowl as they are once more champions of the AFC. Hello and welcome in to the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. I am Joshua Brisco, Beards McFly on the other side of the glass. Dylan Michaels producing around the building as well. 23-20 doesn't do it justice. The final score of this game is irrelevant. The step-by-step of this game doesn't tell the story. I could go play-by-play or player-by-player. We could crack open the box score. We can revisit all of the narratives from this week. We're going to have 2 weeks to look ahead to the Kelsey Bowl / Andy Reid Bowl. I'm going to save that, at the very least, for later in the week. But in this game, I think we saw one of the most beautiful things you can see in football. You saw greatness be great. From both teams and both sides of the ball, for that matter, you saw Jamar Chase be great. You saw the Bengals defense and Lou Anarumo give this offense problems once again. You saw this game be severely in doubt pretty much the entire 60 minutes for both of these squads. But the most incredible spot that you saw greatness tonight was from the middle of that Chiefs defensive line. Now, look, no one on planet Earth ever has to twist my arm to get me to talk about Patrick Mahomes, and I will. But if you would have said, hey, the Chiefs are going to score 23 points in this game, how does that make you feel? I would have felt like we were talking about a much less fun post-game show and a really boring next couple of weeks by comparison. L'Jarius Sneed went out of this game early. These rookie cornerbacks were forced into a terrible spot. Brian Cook, rookie safety, playing a lot of reps because there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of dominoes from Sneed getting hurt as early as he did. I don't know if the plan was for Brian Cook to play as much as he did. Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams. Make it Brian Cook again to add him into the mix of these rookie defensive backs. Every one of those dudes had bad moments tonight. Don't tell them that. Irrelevant. Did not end up mattering. Because all of these dudes made plays. You saw rookies. And I know Steve Spagnuolo and Justin Reid and a bunch of these other dudes, they've talked about, hey, there are no more rookies anymore, right? It's in the playoffs, they're in their first year, but we're here now. Well, Trent McDuffie didn't play all that much football. He missed a big chunk early in the season because he got hurt in Arizona. Back to the scene of the crime for him and Harrison Butker both. Hope that turf gets figured out. But you saw those rookies, which they still are. It's still on their roster spot on the depth chart. It still says R for years of experience. Outrageous performances from them, really over these last 5 weeks. The last 3 games in the regular season, these 2 games in the playoffs, this Chiefs defense looked rejuvenated, revitalized, aggressive, playing for the football, coming to make their own plays, not relying on what the offense was going to do on the other side. It wasn't about Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce for them. What can we do here? There were times when half of the defense were rookies. 3 corners, Brian Cook, George Karlaftis. To say nothing of the fact that the offensive weapon that fans have been begging to see more of on the other side is also a 7th-round pick. Forced into the line of duty here, and yeah, they're way better equipped than they were earlier on in the season. But think about what we were talking about in April and May, and then in training camp, and then in week 6 or 8 or 12. Hey, if this defense can look like it belongs by playoff time, wow, what a revelation that would be. They put a bow on this one today. The Chiefs gave up the first touchdown of the game with, I think, 35 minutes in. 5 minutes into the second half. They gave up a score again after the short field when Mahomes just had the ball fall out of his hand. A play that you just don't see that kind of playoff ghost. That doesn't happen to Patrick Mahomes. Those are ghosts of the past. Those aren't Mahomes' burdens. Well, it happened. A ghost swept down and knocked the ball out of Mahomes' hands. And hey, look, the refs gave the Chiefs an extra play and an extra series of downs they did nothing with, for what it's worth, but that happened. That wasn't ghost. That was just bad refereeing. You have the roughing to get the Chiefs into field goal range at the end. I think it's got to get called there, but I feel terrible for the defender he didn't try to, horse collar Mahomes down on the way out. He was running with them way farther out of bounds than he should have been, made contact. It's 15 more. That's tough. That is. There were a couple of calls on both sides, both ways in this game that I did not care for. Okay, the roughing one at the end there, unnecessary roughness on the outside, on the sideline, it's going to get called every time. But other calls throughout the game, some benefited Cincy, some benefited the Chiefs. And so frankly, maybe this wouldn't play in Cincy right now, but frankly, I don't really care. I've desperately tried to avoid talking about referees throughout this season that has been so much about them. And yeah, Carl Sheffers is the Super Bowl head referee. It's an all-star crew around him. Whoop-de-doo. But I don't want to talk about any of that. Again, maybe that wouldn't play in Cincinnati, but I'm not in Cincinnati. We're here in Kansas City. And this defense demands the headlines in my book. We said coming into this game, been saying all week, this is a legacy game for Chris Jones. But when I said that, I said it a little bit through my fingers over my eyes. Because a legacy game for a defensive lineman is not always conducive to being understood as a legacy game. Sometimes the best things an interior defensive lineman can do is to take all of the attention, never actually wreck the game as much as you'd like to see them do, but create opportunities for the other guys around him. I was a little bit worried about the phrase Chris Jones legacy game, not because I was concerned that he'd show up. You've been around, right? You've heard me talk before. I have some pretty strong opinions about Christopher Jones.
What are they, Josh?
That he tonight was the best football player who touched the field. Period. But
Better
no.
than Mahomes?
Tonight, Chris Jones was better than Patrick Mahomes.
What about Harrison Butker?
He was better than Harrison Butker. He was better than Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Marcus Kemp?
He was better than Marcus Kemp, who caught an F in football. He was better than Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He was better than Travis Kelce. Tonight, Chris Jones earned that one. And man, look, the three-headed monster of Mahomes, Kelce, and Chris Jones, if you really wanted to fight, look, I'm not saying that the Chiefs win this game with the same exact performance from Chris Jones and Chad Henne back there. I don't know. I really don't, and frankly, I don't want to think about it. And God, Travis Kelce was unreal. I hope everyone listening right now understands that I can share my love for those three football players in particular. Like, if we're talking about Chiefs Mount Rushmores for just the dudes that I felt magic watching them, I think it's those three and Jamal Charles. I just think that's my Mount Rushmore of players who made me feel things watching football. A lot of good nominees. Yours can be different. That's fine. But tonight, Chris Jones was the difference between the Chiefs having time to pick and choose their offensive spots, having time to be patient, or frankly, just to be bad, to sputter out, versus having no margin for error, and then immediately you're playing from behind. It was big plays. It was consistency. It was getting to Joe Burrow. It was demanding the double teams. It was beating double teams. It was bringing him down. This has been true now for a while. I was saying this last year, early last year even, when people weren't thrilled to hear it because some good players on this unit. But this defense doesn't function without Chris Jones. He's been the best player on this defense now for a minute. And tonight was a masterclass in that. Now look, again, hear me say, you remove Chris Jones or Patrick Mahomes or Travis Kelce from this game, and we're talking about a Bengals-Eagles Super Bowl. This isn't a case where you can really pick and choose. We are here judging 99, 98, 97. But they let me stand here and start talking, and I wanted to talk about Chris Jones. Two sacks, his first two sacks in the playoffs, I may remind you. Playoff Frank Clark also appears to be a thing. I can't explain it. I don't care to. I guess it's real because he is, not a misspoken phrase here, he is an all-time great at bringing down the quarterback in the playoffs. And that's the other thing that it was tonight. And we'll take some calls. Mahomes on the field on CBS with cameos from Orlando Brown and Travis Kelce were excellent. I'm going to bring you those as well. We'll, of course, bring you all the pressers we can get from Arrowhead. Sound from the locker room. We're going to load you up tonight. But it is not a cliche. It is not fan service. It is not an oversimplification to say that this was a quintessential team game. How'd you all feel when Sky Moore was back there to return punts? I didn't even want to tell Beards. The first time he was back there, I said, "Did you hear that?" And Beards went, "Hear what?" I said, "Shut up, no. Just your watch." And then Sky Moore, I think one of them got wiped out from a penalty. One of them late in the game there was electric. Sky Moore looked good returning punts. Harrison Butker came out at the end. They didn't trust him earlier with a longer kick. And those free 15 certainly took some relief, I'm sure. Brought some relief to Andy Reid. Took some of the weight off his shoulders to know, hey, this is a little shorter than it could have been. Great. But the special teams, which had me absolutely deteriorating faith, special teams stepped up. Tommy Townsend was great. Stupendous. Even when he shouldn't have been punting, he was punting perfectly. You get your Harrison Butker moment. You get decent field position. You get Sky Moore back there making an impact on special teams. Meanwhile, would you like to hear the players who caught a football for the Kansas City Chiefs today? Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 6 for 116 and a touchdown. Legacy game. In Kansas City, legacy game. Travis Kelce, 7 for 78. Isaiah Pacheco, 5 for 59. I like this coming into this game. I've got like a couple of, $5 betting slips to prove it. We never really talked about it that much, but him becoming a little more versatile in the personnel packaging makes the Bengals defend a little bit differently because you don't know what's coming based off the personnel. Thought that might come. Didn't think it was going to be 559, but there it was. Jerick McKinnon. And here's the drop-off, okay? 116, 78, and 59 yards for MVS, Kelce, and Pacheco. Everybody else here is in the teens or below. 1, 2, or 3 receptions for this whole group. Jerick McKinnon, Marcus Kemp, Sky Moore, McCole Hardman, Kadarius Toney, Juju Smith-Schuster, Noah Gray. And like half of that list left with an injury. Most of those guys didn't come back. So you have MVS and Marcus Kemp and Sky Moore making plays. You have a running game that, frankly, I know we're going to talk about the running game. The Chiefs are averaging 2 yards a carry in this game. 2.1 is your final total. That's elevated by Mahomes' scramble there at the end. You have Patrick Mahomes not being his best self. Gimpy at times, couple of throws that he couldn't drive quite right off that back foot. I expected that to show up a few times. The question was, can it only happen a few times? Can you stay alive beyond that? The answer was yes, but barely. It was the Mahomes magic scramble there at the end. And it was an exceptional night from the defense that functioned as a unit. There were times in the middle of the field was rough. Willie Gay and Nick Bolton certainly had some objectionable moments. And overall, though, with a, I'm going to say it and you can't stop me, masterclass from Steve Spagnuolo. Oh, it felt good just to say it. Truly a team win. And the Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl. I want to go to this clip here from the on-field interview on CBS. Was Patrick Mahomes at first, but I think the first shouting you hear is from Orlando Brown. You'll recognize the voice of Travis Kelce. And there's just a whole lot in this. How long is it, Beards? 2 minutes or so?
Minute and a half.
Minute and a half. Here's 90 seconds of a bunch of your favorite people saying things you've been thinking all week.
Vindication at its best today. And Patrick, what can you say about the job you and your team did? Sure.
Give him this respect.
Yes, sir.
Give him this respect.
Yes, sir.
Stamp him.
Well, we do know that you are one of the greatest, and you showed that out here today. Certainly not anywhere close to 100%. How did you guys do this against the Bengals with just coming back and finally finishing this one off to head to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I just want to thank God, man.
Woo! Burrow had my ass. Woo! It's Mahomes' house.
Hey, first off, like I said, I want to thank God, man. He healed my body this week. To battle through that, he gave me the strength to be out here. But I just with this team, man, we played together. I said it from the beginning. When we were in the locker room, I said, we got to be together, and this team stepped up against a great football team, and we showed this place that's Arrowhead. It's not Burrowhead out here.
No, it's not Burrowhead anymore, and you saw Travis Kelce. It's going to be the Kelce Bowl against the Eagles. Your early thoughts on heading to Arizona to try and beat the Eagles to win another Super Bowl?
Yeah, no, I mean, they're a great football team. I've watched them all year long. Great quarterback, great entire team, man. It's going to be a great challenge for us, but I'm going to celebrate this one first. So I'm going to make sure I get back with my team. I don't think we have any cigars, but we'll be ready to go at the Super Bowl.
Enjoy it. Good luck.
I appreciate you.
How's it feel? Does it feel good? It should feel good. Enjoy your cigars if you feel like it now. You got 2 weeks to restock for the Super Bowl. We will bring you Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, I'm sure MVS. We might see Carlos Dunlap at the podium. I don't know who it'll be yet. Plus, we got interviews from the field, from the locker room. So let's go ahead. I mentioned this last week, and you guys were killer about it. I'm going to try to go pretty rat-a-tat-tat through the calls today, get a lot of people on, get a lot of people a chance to say what you're feeling right now about, as Chris Jones called it, Geehaw Field at Burrowhead Stadium. Geehaw! Beards and I didn't even plan that. We just both instinctively decided it was time for both of us on the radio to go, Geehaw! Bet you're coming with me on that one, Beards.
I'm sorry.
See, we can't plan it.
No.
It's got to happen naturally. When we both decide to say, Geehaw! Doesn't feel very good to get left alone on an island like that, does it?
No, it was pretty good.
It was pretty good. Let's go to the phones. Paul, you're up first here on the 810 Postgame Show. Hit me, Paul.
Hey, how about those battling bastards in Kansas City? You get attrition of your unit, you're in a firefight, and they held the line, and I'm so proud of them. When Mahomes dropped that fumble, I watched him on the sideline. He went down to every player, said, you could just see that leadership in his eye. Mm-hmm. Hey, we got this, we got this. And Butker, 6-degree weather, are you kidding me, into the wind? He was feeling it, you know. So I'm so proud of these guys. I'm so proud of that staff. And I can't say enough about Chris Jones and even the punter, Townsend.
Yes,
what a great
sir.
job putting Burrows in a difficult position. But the battling bastards are moving on. What a great unit that is. Thanks, guys. Great show.
Good stuff, Paul. Let's keep it moving. Butch, you're up next. Butch, how about him? How about a Butch? Butch, it sounds like you're underwater. Butch, it sounds like you're underwater. Figure out your headphones. I'm going to come back and get you at full HD. I don't know what's going on if you're using headphones or what, but just go ahead and get out from the bottom of the swimming pool and get ready, Butch. We're coming to you in a second. But the next man up is George. George, you're on 810. Hit me, George.
It's called football for a reason. You know I've been a special teams proponent all season long.
Yes, sir.
I've lived and died with them. Butker came through. Townsend has always come through. We've had some good returns. It's a joy. It's a true joy to see the right part of the game be played correctly. I know you have a thing against the foot in football.
Every once in a while.
Say no. Hold your true colors. I say too bad. They've done their job. It is the crucial third leg of the tripod of truth and justice.
Whoa! Beards, mark the tripod of truth and justice, please.
Sir, are you going to even try to eat a cheesesteak between now and the game?
I would never. I will not allow for a cheesesteak to get betwixt these lips. Not these next 2 weeks. No, sir.
Good man. Good man. You know where to find us. We'll be there.
George, I appreciate you, sir. Always good to hear from you. Let's go back to Butch. Beards are going to go back to Butch. Butch, go ahead and cook it up for me again, sir.
Gentlemen, can you hear me?
Gentlemen, I got you.
Gentlemen, how about those AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs?
Just as good the second time, Butch.
Listen, I tell you several times before when I come on here, when I think about seasons like this, guys, I can't help but to think about my late father, my late cousin. You know, they never lived long enough to see the Chiefs even play in a Super Bowl. You know, and we're going to 3 and 4 years. So it's tough not to be emotional. But the game is about emotion. And you saw it out there. You got a quarterback on one leg, right? You have young guys in the secondary who are just trying to make a name for themselves, going up against an all-world team. Cincinnati has the true makeup of what should have been a Super Bowl champion. And they brought it all 4 quarters to Arrowhead, right to you. And, man, I didn't know. I'm not going to front JB. I thought we were cooked. I thought we were cooked. But the things that I got on here and I cried about all dang season long, I was wrong. I'm an idiot, dude. I don't know what I'm talking about. Sky Moore, return the punt. The biggest punt in his life to get us the big field. Harrison Butker kicks us back to the Super Bowl. Guys, do you understand what we just saw here? It's no longer about hyperbole, man. This is a dynasty, and that is not Patrick Mahomes back there. I lied to you guys. I'll leave you with this. That is not just some dude back there playing quarterback, wearing number 15 in red. That is indeed God disguised as Patrick Mahomes playing for your team to a 3rd Super Bowl.
Talk to you in a couple of weeks, Butch, you maniac. Who we got next? Oh, we got Gary next. Gary, cook one up for me, man. How's it going?
Really good. Can't complain tonight. All those things we complained about. Well, I complained about all year.
We all.
Hey, Spagnuolo, your front 4, they kicked some butt. They didn't do it all game, but man, when they needed it, Chris Jones, you said you were gonna take care of that. You took care of that, Chris Jones. Way to go, Patrick Mahomes. Nothing can be said that describes you, Patrick Mahomes. You're otherworldly. for you to put this team on your back when your receivers are down, to risk yourself to pick up extra yards just to try and get us in the field goal range and get hit out of bounds like that. Patrick Mahomes, you're otherworldly. Steve Spagnuolo, otherworldly. And I'll leave you with this. Chris Jones now has more playoff sacks than Derek Nottie. Good night.
Gary, appreciate you always. Win, lose, got close to a draw a couple of times. Always good to hear from you, man. Next up, we got Rodney. Rodney, you're on 810. What's up, Rodney?
What's going on, Josh? Man, I've been waiting for this since watching Mahomes run. I'm just going to give credit where credit is due. Brandon Cook, Williams, McDuffie, that whole entire rookie secondary. Spags threw all them rookies into the fire, and they came back with that fire and said, we ready to cook. Those guys earned every single moment of it. The DB coach, good God almighty, that guy is amazing.
Unreal.
That interception with Brandon Cook, that was all coaching because he did not make the same mistake twice. I can tell what the coach told him to do, and that double team worked right into perfection. Just told him, don't go inside. You got help on the inside. Just take it. And it played. The ball went right to him. Perfect coaching. That defensive front, absolutely perfect. Absolutely. And I know like Eric Bieniemy said, they drug their ass across the finish line, and that's what it is. They drug their ass across the finish line. I'm going to listen off there.
Rodney, I appreciate you. And also the shout-out for Dave Merritt, DB's coach. He's been here for a minute. He's been doing this for a while. There is a reason that L'Jarius Sneed and Rashad Fenton and these guys who have come out of low draft pick windows have become contributors so fast. I remember back at, I think it was the first rookie minicamp, if memory serves, with Steve Spagnuolo in town. I was out there for one of the practices. I was watching him work with one of the young guys. It must have been Sneed at the time, I guess. I don't know if that lines up on all the timing. But it was a rookie minicamp, and I saw a coach over off to the side working one-on-one with the defensive back with a corner on some drills or something, some hand placement and stuff like that. I thought it was kind of interesting. So I was trying to figure out who it was. Steve Spagnuolo. He loves it. I think he loves working with the corners. Dave Merritt has been stupendous. And then also a name that we haven't said as much because he got promoted recently with some of the shuffling around. Donald DiAlicio, safeties coach as well. Defensive back coaches have been outrageous here. Beard, you got something for me?
From our own Dylan Michaels, 12 minutes ago, Patrick Mahomes tweeted the gif of, "Who do you think you are? I am!"
One of the that's got to be in the system somewhere, Beards. I saw that. I retweeted the GIF of it. We got to find the audio of that. If that just wants to be the theme of the night. Beards, will you keep also working with our man Todd Lebo out at Arrowhead about sorting out the last couple of texts back and forth? Because I'd like to get that figured out as best as we can. We're expecting a really good crew at the podium. Frank Clark, Chris Jones, Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Man, that dump button's going to get some work during Chris Jones.
It might. It might.
And Frank Clark.
If you're worried about your children listening right now, that might be something you need to keep an eye on. And then also Brett Veach and Clark Hunt, all expected to be at the podium at some point here tonight. So we're going to bring you all that. We also are going to have to get in some breaks here. But I think, Beards, if you can keep starting that with Lebo, my thought is we hear from Nick, Dylan, and turn it to 11 over here. We say, everybody hold on for the calls for a second. We'll sneak in a quick timeout. We got to manage the clock on our own. Then we come back and start bringing podium pressers. That sound good to you, Beards? Beards gave me the so-so hand sign. Well, here's what I know for sure. We blow through these three calls, hear what you three got to say. I'm going to go ahead and put the phones on hold here for just a minute. So if you don't get through, we might open them back up later because this is obviously a special occasion, and I've really enjoyed the calls tonight already. But if you get a busy signal, hold tight. We're trying to make magic happen over here. And next up, we got Turn It to 11. Let's go ahead and turn it to 11 then. Hey, what's on your mind?
Hello?
All right, yep, I'm going to go ahead. Whoop. All right, hey, I just hung up on Dylan. I lost Dylan. We got 11. 11, what's on your mind? Dylan, if you call back in, tell Beards I hung up on you, and we'll get you back.
Man, how about the Chiefs, man?
How about them?
Man, hey, I got to give a shout-out to all them haters out there, man. A lot of people, Shannon Sharp, all the mainstream people counted us out. And I had told everybody, I said, the defense front four got to step out. I mean, step up. Shout out to Chris Jones. Shout out to all of them. Shout out to Sky Moore when he got that punt. Shout out to Mahomes. Shout out to Kelsey. Shout out to our secondary, man. This is what it looks like. That's why I've always told people I'm never afraid when we play Cincinnati. The only thing that frustrates me is that we don't capitalize on when our defense shuts them down. Today we did not do. A couple of times we left some points on the board, but for the most part, when our defense stepped up, our offense stepped up. That's how it got to be. That's how you beat these people. So, man, shout out to you, man. I appreciate you doing your show, man, and let's go ahead and win this Super Bowl.
I'm excited to be here in a couple of weeks, man. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the call. You can just do the shout-out line. I mean, there are so many people who stepped up here, and then, we're going to get to enjoy a couple of weeks of Bart Scott screenshots going around saying the Chiefs will miss the playoffs. I mean, it's just about as good as you could draw it up. All right, we got Dylan for real this time. Dylan, sorry for the fat fingers. What's on your mind?
Hey, no worries. I wanted to call in about the Chris Jones extension because I think you're absolutely right. This is a legacy game for Chris Jones. Burrow had his chance at the end, and Chris Jones said he was the better player. Yeah. And I remember 3 years ago there was a debate about whether we should extend him. I don't know where everybody fell on that debate, but I think looking back, it was the absolute right call because in any sport there's no divine right. The Bengals thought they had a divine right to go back to the Super Bowl, and the front office, Andy Reid and Chris Jones, decided that we need to bring him back, and it made a big difference in this game.
It sure did, Dylan. I appreciate the call. I think you're exactly right, and I think we're going to see that come to fruition again this offseason as well because I just don't want to see this. I don't want to see this defense without Chris Jones any more than I want to see this offense without Travis Kelce. Someday that day may come. Because I'm not convinced either of them aren't immortal, but I don't need to see that any sooner than is absolutely necessary, and I think that this game, mercifully, is going to help lock that down. It'll be expensive. It's going to be a lot of money. What will it look like at the end of the contract? I don't care. I mean, I do from like a team-building standpoint, right? But you can ask me what the contract will look like in 2027. Fair question. I'd ask you, what's the defense going to look like in 2024 if 95 is not in the middle of it? I think today we got a pretty good idea what that might look like. Next up, we got Nick. Nick, you're on 810. What's up, Nick?
Hey, Josh. First off, MVP open to the post-game show. That was incredible.
Thank you very much.
So I've been listening to sports radio for probably 20 years at this point, never called in. I was compelled because if you're going to Hollywood, you're pitching a script, how on earth can you, in the course of the last minute of the game, Chris Jones never has a sack, gets his second, followed by Sky Moore, who has fumbled over and over and over and over again, gets a great run back, followed by our hobbled quarterback, gets the first down, and then we kick to win. Incredible.
Unbelievable. And Nick, if that's your first time, long time, it's a good one, and it's a good time to pull the trigger. Appreciate you listening, man.
Thank you.
We got one more call here, then we're going to take a quick timeout, and then we're going to bring you all the stuff we can from Arrowhead, because, man, I think it's going to be a little spicy. Always a little spicy to hear from Dan as well. Dan, close us out for this segment, my man.
Hey, Joshua, how you doing? Super Bowl bound. How about that defense? How about Chris Jones finally getting that first career second, wrecking havoc on Burrow? He made just that couple of plays on that fourth down. I couldn't believe he completed that to Chase, But everybody, great team win. How about Sky Moore fumbling all punts all way long, making the play of the night, getting the 50 yards on the 48-yard line, then roughing on the Mahomes, and then the game-winning field goal of the Bucker. Let's go on. Take care of the Eagles. Let's run on third Super Bowl championship. Take care, Joshua.
Appreciate it as always, Dan. I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Appreciate everybody calling in, listening in tonight. It's already been a tremendous evening. I think the next couple hours are going to be pretty fun as well. I'm Joshua Brisco, Beards McFly on the other side of the glass. Dylan Michaels producing here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show, brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day. When we come back, we're going to start hearing press conferences live from Arrowhead Stadium. Let me check my notes. Yep, sure looks like that's still what it's called.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brought to you by Casey's own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local Shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
It's time to imagine more for your business with smarter financial workflow solutions from Central Bank. We offer a full set of tools and people to make your business run smoother. Cash management and card services, payroll solutions, and loans tailored for you. Central Bank has everything you need to manage more than just your money, so you can get back to imagining even bigger possibilities. To learn more, visit centralbank.net/business. Central Bank. We do business better. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Yes, indeed, Kansas City is going to Phoenix. And if you need tickets to the big game or hotel travel packages, go to bullseyeeventgroup.com. They're going to have the Players Tailgate there hosted by Bobby Flay. It's the #1 rated event on game day. You've got 60-plus active NFL players, celebrity chefs, with all-you-can-eat drinks for 4 hours leading up to the game right across from the stadium. That sounds like an incredible way to celebrate what should be an incredible day. You've got both of the Kelseys in the Super Bowl, obviously all of the connections for Andy Reid, and what other excuses could you possibly need to make a nice little winter trip out to Arizona and watch the big game? Go check it out right now. Again, that's with bullseyeeventgroup.com. Make your game day great. The Players Tailgate hosted by Bobby Flay. For tickets, you go online, bullseyeeventgroup.com. That's bullseyeeventgroup.com to make your game day great when you make it out to Arizona for the big game.
Now's the time to establish and or maintain a barrier around your home with Augustine Exterminators. Don't let it break down. At Augustine Exterminators, they have you covered. Augustine Exterminators is a family-owned local business since 1966. All of their techs are certified in both Missouri and Kansas. They are a Quality Pro and Green Pro company. Augustine Exterminators also does carpet, rug, air duct, and tile cleaning. They have an excellent referral program as well. Refer a new customer, and you both get $25 off your next service. That's right. Refer a friend, and you both get $25 off. Shop and buy local with Augustine Exterminators. Call Augustine Exterminators today at 913-359-8627 or go online at AugustineExterminators.com. That's online at AugustineExterminators.com or give them a call, 913-359-8627.
Do you struggle with pain, anxiety, sleep, or lack of energy? It's time for you to talk with CBD American Shaman's expert consultants about the power of high-quality hemp oil. And while supplies last, you can stop by your local CBD American Shaman location today to pick up the limited autographed Tim Grunhardt's book, View from the Center. While you're there, pick up some free samples, and they even have great products for your pets. CBD American Shaman. Life is better with the feather.
WHB Kansas City.
When you need a fence, call Slagle Fence. It all started a decade ago, one fence at a time. Two small-town Kansas brothers decided that they could build a better fence at a reasonable price. Today, Slagle Fence has grown to be one of the largest residential fence installers covering the entire KC Metro. Slagle installs it all, wood to ornamental steel to vinyl. No job is too large, and it will look great too. Call today for a free estimate, 816-863-6159 or slaglefence.com.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. And at 2, tune into the program with Soren Petro. Kansas City's favorite shows are on your hometown radio station. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
We did it, Kansas City. Congratulations to the boys in red for winning their 7th straight AFC West title and going to the playoffs. We're getting a lot closer to the finish line, so keep the pedal to the metal, KC. Speaking of the pedal to the metal, if you're looking for a great deal on a new or pre-owned vehicle, check out your favorite dealership, and mine too, Roberts Robinson Chevrolet Buick GMC. They're also a winning team with many awards from their community for outstanding service. When you go to Roberts Robinson, you feel feel like family because that's how they treat their customers. Not like other dealers. They live by their slogan, "We just make it easy," ensuring all clients leave with a smile. I know I did. They're also one of the few dealers that offer the lifetime warranty on new vehicles for free. Make sure that you go online to robertsrobinson.com or go to Roberts Robinson on Facebook to check out over 80 vehicles available. And tell them that Grunny sent ya.
Give your home a fresh look with the beauty and durability of Mohawk wall and floor tile at Menards. Mohawk features a large selection of beautiful and durable tile options to match your style. Mohawk tiles are perfect for any room of your home. Add a stylish finishing touch with Logan Springs Charcoal Ceramic Tile. Right now it's just $119 each. Save big money on Mohawk tile now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Icon is seeking healthy, non-smoking men and women ages 18 to 55 to participate in a clinical research study at our facility in Lenexa, Kansas. Volunteers must be available for one stay of 6 nights and one follow-up phone call. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $4,800 for time and travel. Call Icon today at 913-210-5900. That's 913-210-5900.
Bickmer Electric. We've got the highest quality trained electricians, rated best in KC. We do free virtual panel inspections and no contact service for your safety. Bickmer Electric will get you up to code for your voltage load. Bickmer Electric, we're gonna wire it right and hook you up tonight. Bickmer Electric.
The NFL playoffs continue on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Touchdown! Kelsey down the near sideline.
Your home for the NFL playoffs and live coverage from Arizona of Super Bowl 57. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
NFL playoff coverage is presented by Shamrock Roofing and Construction, Barstool Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino, Worth Harley-Davidson, Marine Sales Lake Viking, and Greenlight Dispensaries.
Burrow looking to his right. Burrow in trouble, and he is sacked by Chris Jones. He beats Adeniji, and it's 4th down.
That, of course, is our defensive player of the game, Chris Jones, presented by Schlegel Fence. When you need a fence, call Schlegel Fence. Schlegel Fence installs it all from wood to ornamental steel to vinyl to chain link. No job is too large, and it'll look great, too. Schedule your free estimate by going to schlegelfence.com or call 816-863-6159. We go live to Arrowhead right now as Chiefs Chairman and CEO Clark Hunt speaks.
In the course of any season, you're always going to face adversity, and I really feel like during this past week, we almost faced a season's worth of adversity, starting with Patrick's ankle injury last week and Travis's back. All the injuries tonight, particularly at the receiver position, but Andy and the guys did a tremendous job and were able to overcome it and get it done. I also want to mention the fans tonight. They were incredible. I had multiple people mention to me what a great atmosphere this was, how loud it was, the energy level. Of course, that's always true of any game here at GEHA Field at Arrowhead, but I thought it was particularly true tonight, and getting to celebrate winning the Lamar Hunt Trophy with our fans is very, very special for our family and the entire organization. With that, I'll open it up.
Our third time going back to the Super Bowl in the past 4 seasons. In order, does it get any better than this?
I don't know that it gets better, but we do know not to take it for granted. One of the things about going 50 years between Super Bowls is it teaches you how much to appreciate it. You know, certainly over the last 5 years, we've been blessed to be in 5 straight AFC Championship games, all here at home. And the 3 Super Bowls that you mentioned, it's special, but we're not going to take it for granted. And, hopefully we'll get out there and try to claim another Lombardi.
Given that you traded Tyreek Hill back this spring,
Well, internally, we had high expectations, understanding the challenge of playing with a bunch of young players. If you listen to much of the national media, you would have thought that we had no chance. I remember, Andy commenting in response to a question that, we're not going to be too bad ourselves because people were talking about the other teams in the AFC West. Obviously, really the credit goes to Andy and the coaching staff for getting those young players ready to play. And, of course, tonight we had numerous young players step up, some who haven't played very much over the course of the season. They had an opportunity tonight, and they really shined. Yeah, Andy and I were talking about Patrick earlier in the week, and I mentioned to him that the great ones always find a way to get it done, particularly when they're facing adversity. And Patrick certainly showed that tonight. Tremendous performance all the way around. Clearly his ankle didn't feel very good in the fourth quarter, and the game couldn't have had a better finishing sequence than having Patrick, make that run, get the penalty, put us in field goal position that ultimately led to the win. Watching the play, I was like, well, Superman put his cape on and got it done for us. And, just tremendous performance all the way around by Patrick.
Jared. Cart, this game almost was played in Atlanta, and there's been a lot of conversation about perhaps the NFL will take the conference championships to neutral sites. I know you got to be a little biased about it, but that being said, what are your thoughts on that possibility?
Yeah, well, we were certainly ready to play the game at a neutral site if that's the way it turned out. We understood the unusual sequence at the end of the season in terms of the Buffalo-Cincy game not being able to be completed. I think Andy said it best that, we'd be happy to play the game in the McDonald's parking lot, and that was true. Andy's teams are just as good on the road typically as they are at home. So it wasn't something that we shied away from. On the other hand, we were very excited to get to play in front of our great fans. One of the things that I've learned over the last 5 years is how special these championship games are when you get to play them at home and you get to celebrate with your fans. And I know that my dad was a proponent at times of taking the AFC and NFC championship games to neutral sites. But I think based on our experience, I think it's best to give the team that earns that right the chance to play the game at home.
All right, thank you.
There's Clark Hunt, Chiefs chairman and CEO, and would like to see games keep happening at Arrowhead Stadium, which is a good take for my money. We expect to hear from Chiefs general manager Brett Veach momentarily as well. You can listen to all of the pressers live here on 810. You can also watch them on the Sports Radio 810 social media feeds, the Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook Live. You can watch us, see the pressers, and see our smiling faces across the board. A big shout out to Reap ZZ on Twitch for 20 gifted subs for the community over there. It's a good stuff if you want to jump in and join the Twitch people. In the meantime, here's the Veach people. GM Brett Veach.
Always an amazing experience. Want to thank Clark Hunt and his family for all their support, Mark Donovan and his crew, and the coaching staff. Certainly don't want to leave out Rick Burkholder and his crew. Joked this week that we were like the healthiest team all year, and then one of the biggest games of the year, we had a bunch of injuries, but his guys just, grinded overtime and got these guys ready to roll. So big tip of the cap to Rick and his crew, and then certainly my staff. We had a long spring and a lot of tough decisions, and there's a lot of hours in that film room, but I have total faith in those guys, and those guys have total faith in me. And again, can't thank them enough for all their support. And with that, I'll take your questions.
Brett, can you put in perspective what kind of achievement this is, given trading Tyreek back in the spring and then playing so many young guys on defense like you did during the season?
Yeah, well, I think it just speaks to the strength of the organization, and we have a great coaching staff, obviously a generational talent at quarterback. But, we're deep throughout the organization, and, we have a great scouting staff, and, we didn't go into the offseason just throwing darts. I mean, we knew we had tough decisions to make, but at the same time, we put together a really good plan, and we trusted in our process, and we trusted in the coaching staff to to lead these young individuals. And it was crazy tonight to see. You look up and 35 has an interception, 23 has an interception, 6 has the tip, 24 with the punt return, 10 with the he's been big all year. So and George had a sack. So I mean the whole crew stepped up, and that's what you need to do to win these type of games. And it's a long season. You have to have tremendous depth, and these guys were amazing all year, and they're going to continue to get better.
Pat said you weren't throwing darts here. You like the guys you brought in.
Yeah.
Did you get more out of this rookie group, particularly the defensive guys, than you anticipated you might?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, maybe it was out of necessity because we had a lot of turnover. But again, every time we approach an offseason, whether it be a free agent signing or draft pick, I mean, we have full confidence in our staff's ability to bring talented players in, and our coaches to get the most out of them. So I think you saw early on, you guys were at the OTAs and the training camps, and I think it was pretty clear early on that this would be a special group, and they were certainly a big part of this whole journey here.
Brad, where does this fit in, you think, the sort of narrative of Patrick's career, the arc of his career, in terms of what he's able to do tonight, a little different sort of way of going about it?
Yeah, I think it's similar to all the great ones, and they'll have roster turnovers, and they'll find a way, and they'll have injuries, and they'll find a way. And Patrick's at the top of that list, in my opinion. I'm biased, but I mean, he's incredible. And then, I mean, people don't realize how hurt he was. I mean, we all saw the injury. I mean, high ankles are terrible injuries, and sometimes guys miss 2-3 weeks. And he was out there and running for a first down or a big play in the game that got us in field goal range, and obviously with the late hit there that put us in range. But it just adds to his already great legacy.
Adam mentioned the trade of Tyree. I imagine, obviously, that's a huge decision. How much is this year a confirmation of, if we have Patrick, we're going to be okay with what we surround him with?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a confirmation of that. We have confidence in our process, and again, our guys work extremely hard, and you guys know from our pre-draft meetings, and when we were joking around about the running back situation, and it'll be a lot of running backs left in the draft. But I think it just goes, to show that, I have a really talented staff, and I think that, the hard work pays off, and we have a process, and I think we're always going to be certainly motivated to continue to add talent and depth to this roster and provide Coach and Pat what they need.
Last three. Rhett, a lot of people are going to talk about Coach and his time in Philly, but that's where you were too. What's this mean to you to be facing your old organization?
Yeah, no, it's special, and they're a really good team. I mean, from the start of the season, they came out of the gate and they were undefeated, and they built that team with a talented quarterback, but their fronts are amazing. I mean, their offensive line is really talented, and their defensive line seems like they have 30 guys that can rush the passer. So it's going to be a really, really tough game, and as Coach would say, we look forward to the challenge. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Last one, Sam.
I can't speak for the players. I mean, I certainly think so. I mean, you're talking about a team that knocked you out last year. I mean, they're a really good team. And, we were certainly impressed by what they did last week against Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo's an awesome organization, extremely talented team, and what they did to go into Buffalo and to put up all those points. But, certainly last year, I mean, we had some opportunities to go to the Super Bowl, and we didn't make plays, they did. So to have that chance that, redemption there was certainly sweet, I think, for the whole organization. Yep.
There's Chiefs General Manager Brett Veach live from Arrowhead. Next up, expecting to hear from the quarterback. Just a ton of fascinating stuff soaked throughout every millimeter of this game. We'll have a lot of time to unpack it the rest of the show tonight. Holy bleep, it's 10:20 already? Huh! I got more energy than I thought I was going to. I haven't sat down yet. I thought I'd sit down when press conferences started. I'm not intending on it, but my ankles feel good. I wonder about Patrick Mahomes. Here he is live from Arrowhead.
I didn't expect to be able to run very much, just from the way it felt, but the training staff, Julie, did a great job of getting me enough range and mobility that I was able to protect myself. And at the end of the game there, I had a run to get the first down, and it got us into field goal range. So credit to them, and then just trying to stay on it, and we have 2 more weeks, so we got to keep doing it.
Was there a point, though, you knew, you just sort of felt, hey, done all year?
Yeah, I tried to a couple times in the game where I was trying to get through spots that I usually could get through, and you could see that I didn't have that burst that I usually have. So I got the ball in my hands quickly. I think you saw that. I threw probably a few more checkdowns than I usually would throw, and relied on my teammates to make the plays happen, and that's what they did.
Patrick, there were a couple of
Patrick, when you on the play you run left was the third down pass from the goal.
Yeah, it was. I think y'all saw it was. I said the stopping was going to be the hardest part, and obviously throwing it across your body, you have to plant that right leg and twist across it to throw. So I definitely didn't feel good. I think the worst one was when I fumbled. I tried to pick it up, and that was probably the worst tweak that I had during the game. But like I said, they got me close as they could to 100%, and then I just battled through, and I'll have a few more weeks to get it ready.
And on the fumble, you just kind of lost the handle.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think it was wide open. I was gonna throw it to Marquez. They blitzed, and so he was gonna be wide open, and just slipped right out of my hand. And obviously, I tried to pick it up, and I wasn't able to do that. So luckily, it didn't cost us the game because there was a big moment in the game, and our defense stepped up and got some stops for us there at the end.
Patrick, you guys are really good at not letting the trash talk get back to the podium. Travis made it obvious that he had heard some of that. Just how inside the locker room is motivating between you guys to kind of gear up for this type of matchup?
Yeah, I think guys were probably the most pumped up I've seen them going into a football game. A lot of trash talk coming from a lot of different places. I think no one picked us to win. If so, it was like 5% of people. And we think we've built up enough respect to have a chance to go out and win every game. So whenever you feel like you're the underdog, when you're playing at Arrowhead Stadium, it gets guys ready to go.
What was it in particular they said? Was it the Burrowhead stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you got Burrowhead. They beat us last time. They were talking about we got to play them. There was a lot of stuff. I mean, the mayor came at me, man. I understand he's the mayor of Cincinnati, so he has to think about something. But it's something that you just got to play the football game and then let your play do the talking.
Patrick, when you tweeted it earlier, when you made that run, does that in the back of your mind at all? Like, I don't know if I can push off this way. I got to make this run, or how did you process that as you went into that run?
Throughout the game, I think I just tried to do whatever I could to win. And obviously there was times where you could see that it wouldn't let me do what I wanted to, but I was able to do enough in that last play to get the first down and get myself out of bounds and try to give Harrison a chance to win. And obviously we got the flag, and he pushed me pretty late there. I was just trying to. The defense had gotten stops for us like the last two drives, and we had opportunities to get in field goal range, and we didn't. So I knew I was going to do whatever I could to get us in field goal range, and then Harrison made the kick. Yeah, the way we played the last couple games, you saw it was very similar to these last games where we get ahead and they come back and beat us, and that's a credit to them, man. They had a great team and great leaders over there. We felt like we needed to get this win. We wanted to play this team, and we got them at Arrowhead Stadium, and we were able to finish the job this time. And the job's not finished for us. We got a chance to go up against a great football team in Philadelphia Eagles, and so we had to enjoy this for about a day. And then get right back to it because I've been in the Super Bowl, man, and winning it's a lot better than losing it.
What would it mean to you guys, to you personally, legacy-wise, to your organization, to
Yeah, I'd appreciate it way more. I don't want to say that in a bad way. I think when I first got in the league, it all happened so fast. I won the MVP, I won the Super Bowl, and I thought that's just kind of how it went. You were going to play. I listened to what Coach Reid said, and that stuff happens. And now that I've dealt with failure, losing the AFC Championship, losing the Super Bowl, I know how much hard work and daily grind that it takes. And so I'm just excited to get to that game with the teammates that I have here. And it's a lot of new teammates that haven't been in these Super Bowl games. And so let's bring them along and prepare them so that we can go out and put our best foot forward.
Patrick, what worked on the touchdown pass to Embiid? What did you see sort of pre-snap? And I think Embiid just threw up his hand. I'm sure you probably saw that as well.
Yeah, no, it was he was kind of like the third progression in the read. We had a good protection going, and the offensive line gave me a lot of time. And so I wanted to look at Kelsey first, and they sent a double team to him. And then I reset back to the deep cross that we had, and the safety jumped that. And so both those safeties having to double team Travis and jumping that, I just tried to get back to it, and I saw that hand go up. He's like 6'5", and he has a long arm, so he threw the hand up, and I couldn't really see in front of him, so I tried to throw a line drive to him, and he was able to make a big play for us and a big part of the game.
Patrick, you went into this game with about as many weapons as you've had in a long time, and then they just kept dropping as it went. What was it like to go through the game and look up and you got Marcus King from the huddle and all that?
Yeah, it was a wild week, man. We got guys back. We lost guys. We had guys kind of questionable or whatever you want to say. And so I was proud of those guys and how they battled, man. Not everybody was feeling 100% out there, and they went out there and battled anyways. But let's try to get those guys back now. And we have the extra week, and hopefully we can get them back, as many guys as possible. And the good thing about having a guy like Kemp is he was the guy I was throwing to in scout team and in training camp my first year here. So I've built up that trust in him and know he's going to be in the right spot. And every time he gets in, man, he seems like he made something good happen. So I was happy for him.
Last one.
Patrick, Fred Beach said people didn't realize how hurt you were. Performance tonight adds to a great legacy. Where do you feel like this performance, in your opinion, fits in your legacy?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to comment on it. My goal is to win the Super Bowl. And obviously the AFC Championship is something that I'll forever remember, winning that Lamar Hunt trophy at Arrowhead Stadium. But to me, the job's not finished. All you can think about is how are you going to get better? This is a great football team that we're going up against. I think you've seen that the last few weeks and this whole entire season. So I know it's going to take the best that we got, and that's going to take us preparing this next week and the next week after that to go out there and play our best football.
Thank you.
There's Patrick Mahomes. And we'll have Chris Jones momentarily. But first,
Patrick Mahomes press conference brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity Internet. Stay connected with Wi-Fi coverage that delivers the speed, reliability, and coverage you need. Can your internet do that?
From 15 to 95, Beards, watch the dump button. Here's Chris Jones.
Sit here with me. I'll move next to Ruth. How y'all doing?
Chris, what was it like? You guys got after the quarterback early and late. Just take us through kind of what worked for you guys tonight on the defensive line.
I just think the back end showed up really, really well for us. Gave us an extra second to get to the quarterback. And the front four played resilient tonight, man. Those guys, they showed up, answered the call when needed. Mike Dana, Josh Karlaftis, Frank Clark, doing Frank Clark things. He's moving up in the record books. So I think we just played resilient and stopped the run. We was able to get after him.
Chris?
I think I planned for this game. My whole offseason was dedicated to this game. I missed a few big plays last year. Unfortunate that I was able to move forward, and I put that on my shoulders. So this offseason, I dedicated my whole offseason to making sure when that moment calls for me again, specifically, that I'll answer the call.
It looked like before the last snap, that maybe you thought about going inside, and obviously you went outside. What was the reason why you chose that matchup, and what do you feel like you did well to get that side?
Yeah, the last play, I think it was gun far. They end up bringing the tight end up, motioning out the back. And when they gave me that look earlier in the game, I was getting the tackle and the guard. And I figured since the tight end was on the line, they was on the mass protection, keeping the tight end in, making them chip the D in. So in my head, I was thinking maybe I can get a one-on-one with the tight end. If not, I can get a one-on-one with the tackle, and I feel pretty good about it. Chris,
folks, Chris. Good job keeping it down this week with the back and forth. As it was before, right? You guys didn't really respond. I wonder if you paid up for that at all out there today, and how you did that. I'm sure you were feeling it.
Listen, man, we're not a team that talks, okay? We're not a team that talks. We just go out and play the game respectfully, but don't ever, ever, ever disrespect Arrowhead Stadium at GEHA, okay?
You mentioned the disrespect, just some with the disrespect earlier on in the season, man, and coming into this game. Does that make this win that much more special because you guys were counted out in this game?
Listen, man, for some reason we're always counted out, whether it's in our division, whether it's against the Bengals, let them beat us 3 times. And, we knew we enjoy the motivation that being counted out give us. I think we got a lot of competitors on this team. We look forward to the challenge.
I want to know, tell me about these mice on your shoulder. What's that all about?
Listen, it's an old jacket. I had it like 2 years ago, and I seen Joe Burrow wear the teddy bear, and I was like, I can't let him outdo me, right? So I had to bring out a teddy bear.
There'd been a lot made about Chris Jones doesn't have any playoff sacks. Like, Had that been weighing on you at all, and how did it feel to get not just one but two today?
It's been a lot made by you guys. Y'all make it bigger than what it is. I really personally do not care about stats in the playoffs. My job is to make sure that I play hard, play physical, set a difference out of the line of scrimmage, and make my teammates around me make plays. And whether it's taking a double team the whole game, or whether it's getting a one-on-one and winning. I think you guys actually blow it out of proportion. It don't really matter to me, but I'm fortunate that you guys can have another story. Chris Jones finally got a sack, you know?
Chris,
No. I knew it entered you guys' mind like Chris Jones finally got it. That wasn't a goal for me, okay? I just want you guys to know, but you guys, I understand the logic of it. 11 games, no sacks, so I get it.
4 more.
Chris, thinking back to after you won the Super Bowl, right after you were talking dynasty right away, and it's been a long road back. Just what will it mean to get this opportunity? Where if you win, I think a lot of people feel like, okay, we're there when it comes to that.
The opportunity itself is important. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I don't want to start no dynasty talk. You got to start blowing it out of proportion. Right now, we got a challenge ahead of us against a heck of a team. So we're looking forward to preparing for those guys and playing in the Super Bowl again. We're back, baby. We're back.
Chris Patrick said he was very motivated late to make something happen because of the stops you guys were hitting. What motivation did you guys draw from what he was doing with his head ball?
Listen, Pat is a warrior. I don't have to sit up here and tell you how resilient Pat is. His game speaks for itself. What he did for 4 quarters there, what he did for 2.5 quarters last game. I mean, he's a resilient guy, so I think his play speaks for itself.
Yeah, I was going to follow up that too. Just knowing, watching Pat all week being around him, what do you think it took for him to go out there and play today?
Nothing. He got treatment all week. I mean, what you guys want me to say? He got treatment all week. He was good. He played fantastic, though, man.
Just given how much season stock for a lot of you guys, how much do you take gratification, not just that you had some redemption, but everybody on the team?
Listen.
Ups and downs, obviously you played well today.
God is good. We waited for this moment all year. We knew it may be an opportunity we get to see those guys again, but we're back, baby. See y'all later.
We felt like Chris Jones might bring some good energy to the pressers today. Even kept it clean. Here's Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Marquez, both yards you had receiving in a Chiefs game today. So, I mean, just why did everything come together for you in this one?
I don't know. Ball just got put in the air and I made the play. Not really, any special secret, no secret sauce. Just ball went up, made the plays.
Was there a play for practice or anything that happened during the week that you know Pat was going to play the way Pat played tonight?
Just him showing up every day. It wasn't really a specific thing. It was just, Pat's a competitor. One of the most competitive guys I've ever been around. So I knew if he could go, he's going to go, and he went. So.
Marquez, you guys started the game with about as many of your weapons together as you've had in a long, long time, and then kind of dropping off. What was it like, in the huddle and on the bench? Was it just like who's going to be in the play?
Yeah, it was a little chaotic, but we got a bunch of good guys, man, from top to bottom, and I think that was able to showcase today. Obviously you never want to see 3 guys go down from the same position, and being able to watch Sky come in and Marcus Kemp come in and play and contribute, that was huge, because they were going down on special teams and having to go right back in on offense, and there were just 3 of us, and we had to make it work, and we did. We had some huge plays by both of those guys. Punt return by Sky, Marcus with the curl route on the backside of one of those plays to get us the first down. I think that was just big to see those guys, prepare all week, all year, because you never know where your number's going to be called, and lo and behold, I got called tonight.
Marquez, can you take us through your touchdown from your vantage point?
Yeah, so actually I was like the last read on that play, and it was like a 0 coverage to me and the cornerback. I think they doubled Trav. He was the first read, and once I seen that safety trigger on Trav, and the corner was outside leverage. I was just like, yo, Pat, throw me the ball. You know, I threw my hand up, and he's always finding a way to get people the ball. He has eyes all over his head, and he made it happen.
What you can see here.
This team is, man. We battled through so much adversity. We were heavily doubted, all week, all year, and we just continue to show people why you shouldn't doubt us.
Marquez, you can see your excitement in your tweet right after the game. Can you describe your emotion?
Yeah, man, this is my third championship game. I've been with the Packers with two of them. Got beat to sleep by the 49ers in the first one, and then the second one, lost to Tampa in a heartbreaker. So being able to get to this one and win it, it was one of those moments you can't really describe.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling there at the podium from Arrowhead. And are we close to the end of the podium parade?
I was told we'd have Frank Clark at some point.
Oh, yeah. Frank Clark still hasn't talked yet. Good God.
I haven't heard anything from Lebo.
We've also got it. No, I think you're right. I think we are still waiting on Frank Clark. It's just been a lot of guys with a lot of things to say because this is how it works when you go back to the Super Bowl. Plus, we got a ton of guys from our man Steven St. John in the locker room.
He is just sending the entire roster back.
Basically the whole roster. We're going to get 53 pressers today. Of course, you'll be able to hear more of those on the Border Patrol tomorrow morning, on the Zone in the middays, the program in the afternoon. We're going to have a whole lot to talk about all across the board here on your home for the Super Bowl and your home for the best Chiefs coverage in Kansas City, right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City. I believe, nope, sorry, my wrist buzzed, and I thought, maybe that's a text from Lebo saying that Frank Clark is on the way. No, it was just...
It's just Steven bombarding us with more player audio.
with this 15th clip of the day, and that's barely an exaggeration. You can hear how a lot of this affected these guys. Like, this is not just all the talking, right? Not just all the trash talk and everything that's come up as many times as it already has tonight, but just what this team wanted to accomplish. And look, like, I'll tell you, I had to put a pick on the record, so I picked the Bengals to win by 1 point because the Chiefs are 0-3 against this team, and I wanted to see it. And I thought, hey, banged up unit, all of that, et cetera, et cetera. That's fine. That's fine.
Hater.
Hey, you also had it as a 1 point win. You just had it being, or 1 point loss for the Chiefs. You just had it being 3-2. Not as big of a hater. I think you would have hit the under, and I think I had the over. But it honestly is pretty rare for the Chiefs to be genuinely doubted. I didn't have any genuine doubt. I just had to pick a game, so I basically flipped a coin. But from the preseason and some of that silly stuff of people saying, oh, this is finally the year the Chiefs don't win the AFC West, or oh, what are they going to do without Tyreek Hill? You can play the disrespect or the nobody believes in us as much as you want. Georgia had guys after the game saying nobody believed in us. But really what it is whatever it takes to get you back to this point again. Now it's one game against the Eagles. We'll prep for them. We'll talk about them. We'll go through the matchups and all that when we arrive. But the Chiefs have pretty much controlled everything they can control this season. They won the AFC West again. They got the number 1 seed and home field advantage again. They won their first playoff game to host the AFC Championship game again. And then they won it with Patrick Mahomes on at best like a leg and a half. A defense putting together its most impressive performance of the season. Special teams truly playing a complete game that at least didn't have any of those can't have it back-breaking types of plays. That was the thing that really I was kind of waiting for, holding my breath thinking, when's the self-inflicted wound that they can't overcome? When is that going to arrive? The closest it got was Patrick Mahomes losing the ball. Just falling out of his hand. He's never the guy that makes that mistake, and it was him. And every time there was one of those moments, a penalty or the offense being out of sync or Mahomes giving the ball up or the defense finally just not being able to make the play on 3rd and 1 billion, they finally take an L, somebody else picked him back up. It really is why this is the greatest team sport in the world. And it really is why I think we can rightfully say that when these two teams kick off in Arizona, it's the two best teams in football. Partially because of the talent and the coaching that they have, and partially from what our eyes have seen us, and partially because of the fact that they are here again. It's because with all of these injuries, with the war of attrition, with it being both about your superstars and your depth, these are the two teams that made it all the way to the end. So outrageously, deservingly so. What a game. Travis Kelce should be coming up to the podium next. I forgot we were getting Travis Kelce as well.
I didn't realize we were getting Travis Kelce.
The parade continues at Arrowhead as the Chiefs keep coming up to the podium. We'll bring you some more from the locker room later on as well. Plus, we'll talk to Matt Derrick. There's just a whole lot to continue sorting through, which is one of the best problems in the world, is being here for the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show and wondering when we're going to have time to talk a little more and take your calls. And the good news is we got 2 weeks and then another football game. Woo! It's good stuff here on 810. Here's Travis Kelce.
For me, specifically, because I wasn't the only one that was going through it. We had a lot of guys banged up, and what that meant was that we were going to need some guys to step up, and that's offensive, defensively, and even special teams. You saw a lot of guys getting put in there and having to step up, and that's what makes this thing that much better. And that's what makes this game that much sweeter. When you can get all three phases to come together and win the biggest game of your year up to this point, man, it's a sweet feeling, man. And being in that locker room, sharing that moment with that guys, I'll remember forever for sure.
You like what the Cincinnati mayor had to say last week?
I said enough about the Cincinnati mayor. It was Cincinnati was a better city when Jerry Springer was a mayor.
Travis, seriously, was there a point in practice this week for Pat that you knew he was going to not only play well tonight?
I mean, there was no doubt in my mind he wasn't going to be out there. I knew for a fact he was going to give this city and this organization, all the guys that he goes to work with every single day, everything that he has. And sure enough, I mean, even on that last play, you saw it all come together, man. And you guys know how much I love that guy, but it's moments like that that just make it that much more special to be his teammate, and that much more special to be a part of the Kansas City Chiefs organization.
Special moments with him, does this hit you in a different kind of emotional way, knowing what he had to do and even what you were going through, some of the guys heard?
Right now, it's an amazing feeling. I don't even want to kind of look. I don't even want to look at it from that perspective until this thing's all over with. But from right now, I know that we got a warrior back there, a quarterback, going into the biggest game of the season. And you know what? I know 1-5 is going to give us a chance to win it.
Travis online. People are calling this the Kelce Bowl coming up. Talk about the feeling of being able to deal with your brother.
Haven't talked to him yet, but cool scenario to be in. You know, my mom can't lose. I'll just leave it at that. It's going to be an amazing feeling playing against him, and you know, obviously I respect everybody over there in the Eagles organization, and you won't see me talking too much trash because of how much respect and how much I love my brother. But it's definitely going to be an emotional game, that's for sure.
Travis, this is your third Super Bowl, so obviously that's good for you. But talk about the free agents that came in, Carlos Dunlap and Justin Reid, these rookies that are going to be able to experience the Super Bowl the first time, even though this is your third.
I feel like it's everybody in that locker room has the same mentality. This was awesome, but you know, winning the Super Bowl is obviously the biggest goal, and we've been to a Super Bowl. The leaders, the coaches that have been here, we've been to a Super Bowl and haven't won it, and that was the last taste that I got of it. So to speak to the free agents and the upcoming guys, the guys that we got in the draft, obviously they've all helped us to get to this point, and we're going to need them even more in the Super Bowl. But I can't thank them enough for choosing Kansas City, that's for sure.
Travis, when it came to your obviously, you've had the high and the lows. How do you share that with them so when you go in a couple of weeks, they don't experience the lows but the highs?
Well, I mean, you go into it with the right mindset, and right now we got to get healthy, and from there we'll figure out how we're going to attack the Eagles and how we're going to defend the Eagles, and
You know, it's these 2 weeks tend to be some of the longest days that I've ever experienced. So we definitely have a lot of time to be able to get healthy, get the right mindset, and get everybody on the same page for sure.
Steven. In that fourth quarter, you had different guys out there because of the injuries. You know, Marcus Kemp made a play. You had a lot of rookies out there on the field. What does that say about your team that you can go so far into that depth and still come away with a great performance in the fourth quarter and win this game?
I don't know if you've ever heard of a guy named Brett Veach, but he's brought in some amazing talent, and he's put this team together and with the best team in the AFC because of what he's been able to do, on top of what these coaches have been able to do in terms of teaching the players, teaching these young guys how to make these plays. There's just so much love for the guys that take it day by day, that don't necessarily get the praise, that don't get the opportunities in a game every single week to be able to make those plays, if you understand what I'm saying. A guy like Marcus Kemp stepping up, even a guy like Harrison Bucker, who, for whatever reason, everybody was on him for maybe struggling a little bit, and he's just absolutely been perfect in these playoffs and just put all of that aside. Guy like Sky Moore, who had a few struggles early on this season, steps up to the plate, makes arguably the biggest play in the game on that punt return, putting us in a position to be able to get close enough to get a field goal. Those guys that work their tail off and don't always get that opportunity in the game, for them to step up, man, it's the best feeling in the world.
All right.
What's that? Man, I was going through it for sure. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it, but we have the best training staff in the entire NFL. My guy David Glover, Julie, Ev, Tiff, Ricky B, everybody in this building has been unbelievable getting me right, and I can't leave out my guy Alex Gazel for getting me right outside of the facility, and I'm just very thankful and very appreciative, and man, it's I don't know where I would have been mentally if I wasn't able to play in this game.
All right, thank you.
Have a good one, guys.
There's Travis Kelce there at the podium. And yeah, the next episodes of New Heights will be Super Bowl preview shows between both of the hosts. That's pretty good. I don't even know if Jason and I could, arm wrestle. Those two dudes are going to the Super Bowl. It's pretty good stuff, wire to wire, here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show. We will bring you Frank Clark on the other side of this timeout. Expect to hear him live from Arrowhead, plus a bunch of guys talking from the locker room. We'll eventually get a hold of Matt Derrick, I presume. I don't know what sort of pile of content he's under right now, but boy, howdy, we got some things to talk about, all under the headline of the Chiefs once again being Super Bowl bound. Yeehaw! Yeehaw indeed. Having a lot of good fun here the remainder of the night on the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show. It's brought to you by CBD American Shaman. And when Kansas City scores, you score big at your local CBD American Shaman. Our team score is your % off. They scored 23 points, so you get 23% off all day tomorrow on orders of $100 or more. That's CBD American Shaman, because life is better with the feather.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brought to you by Casey's own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local Shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
I don't know if you've caught on just yet, but there's some good news going around Kansas City. So Kansas City's going back to the big game. This year, it is in AFC Championship game was at Arrowhead. We've spent a lot of time getting the terminology of all that right. From Arrowhead to Arizona. And if you need tickets to the big game or hotel travel packages, I got great news for you. All you got to do is go to bullseyeeventgroup.com. You got the Players Tailgate there, hosted by Bobby Flay. It's the #1 rated event on game day. Plus, there are going to be 60-plus active NFL players, celebrity chefs, all you can eat, eat and drink for 4 hours leading up to the game. It's all right across from the stadium. I can't think of a better way to pregame for the big game. So make your game day great and go to the Players Tailgate, hosted by Bobby Flay. God, that sounds like it'll be a delicious day, and that's before the football even starts. Thinking about trying to get that hookup for myself. But you don't have to try to get through any of those back channels. All you got to do is make your game day great by going to the Players Tailgate again, hosted by Bobby Flay. For tickets, go to bullseyeeventgroup.com. That's bullseyeeventgroup.com.
Hey guys, if you have Peyronie's disease, West Coast Men's Health can help. Acoustic wave therapy can dissolve the knot that's causing the problem. No pill or cream will ever do that. And right now, we're offering a free treatment just for coming in. If you suffer from Peyronie's or ED, call West Coast Men's Health today.
Call 913-243-3200. That's 913-243-3200. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
When you can't stop, there's Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub sends powerful medicated Vicks vapors right to the source of your... so you can experience cough relief and breathe easier. Generations of families have trusted Vicks VapoRub to help relieve the worst cold symptoms. So next time you have a cough, reach for the Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub. Cough relieving is believing.
Not everyone can climb a ladder or spend all day on an uneven surface climbing to new heights. That's why God created a roofer, someone who gets up before the morning light, works all day in the hot sun or bitter wind, and still makes it home in time to catch the kids' ball game. That's why God created a roofer, the kind of person who is most at home with a hammer in their hand and love in their heart. They believe that a team can do just about anything. That's a Shamrock roofer.
It's a new year at Hollywood Casino Kansas Speedway. Check out the all-new electric stadium games. And have you heard? The High Limit Table Game Room is now open. Hollywood Casino has the only sportsbook in KC. With more ways to bet and watch the game, Barstool Sportsbook is your best bet. Don't miss out. Visit HollywoodCasinoKansas.com.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. High limit table games. Open select hours. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Fred Ramsey. And I'm Mark Tobin. Hey, folks, if you're not busy Saturday mornings from 6 to 7 a.m., well, I hope you'll join us for the Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet St. Joe.
Join us and our expert guests, and we'll be talking about hunting and fishing, dog training. We'll give you tips, pass along stories, and most important, share some laughs along the way.
That's right. We cover it all, from crappie to waterfowl, and we'll tell you how to cook it, too.
The Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
One to the left, Mahomes. Out of the pocket, throws on the move, downfield to the end zone. Valdez-Scantling is there for the touchdown. In a sitting position, he hauls it in. Kansas City regains the lead. A 19-yard BB from Patrick Mahomes.
A BB indeed, an absolute dart, a dot, and so many more. Marquez Valdez-Scantling's touchdown there is our play of the game, brought to you by Central Bank. For more, visit them online at centralbank.net. We go back out to Arrowhead Live right now to hear from Frank Clark.
Honestly, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's why they're at the house, or on their way there, you know what I'm saying? So it didn't really motivate me. I mean, obviously you see the things, but like I said, it's going to motivate the ones who's paying attention. I said that the other day. Honestly, it didn't motivate me. I knew what I was going to do. I told y'all what I was going to do before this about a week ago. Y'all can keep on ignoring it, but it is what it is.
Rick, you said like last week, you're going to get it where you get it, whether it's in neutral side or here.
Okay.
What did you guys do so well early and then late to make sure they got it, I guess?
Set the tone. I told my guys yesterday I was going to set the tone from the start of the game to the end of the game. Watch the film.
What about Chris? We talked to a lot of people.
He set the tone. He finished the game.
How special was he
Christopher Jones.
on that game clincher there for you guys, that sack?
He did his thing, man. Chris Jones, most unstoppable man in football.
A lot of people have talked about those sacks about the playoff games. There's been a lot of talk all offseason about last year when he didn't get the sack in the fourth quarter. So for him to finish it, is it poetic justice to them?
He was just doing his job, man. Just doing his job. Going out there doing what the coaches prepared us to do, finishing the game.
When you get traded over here, I mean, obviously the goal you want to win championships, but to be in a third Super Bowl in your 4 seasons since you come over here, I mean, how is that even more than you could have hoped for?
It's a blessing. It's truly a blessing and honor. Just to be able to go back to this place that I felt like last year, sitting at home watching other teams celebrate it, kind of took a toll on us. I feel like it took a toll on me. Kind of shaped my approach to the offseason, honestly. And we here today.
You're the top five. How different was this year's team that's going to the Super Bowl versus the other ones? When you think about all the injuries and not having Tyreek and the changes and new people, what's the mark of this team?
The ability to finish. I feel like over the course of the last 2 years, we wasn't finishing like we're supposed to. I felt like we came into this year with the mindset of finishing games better. You look over the season, I felt like we did that. And then we carried it into the playoffs as well. I feel like for the last 3 games we played the Bengals, fourth quarters and third quarters, second halves really played the tail of the game. They was able to come out in the second half and do more than we was able to do. I felt like our offense did what they were supposed to do in the second half. The third quarter had a very good third quarter, time of possession and stuff like that. And then the defense, we were just able to make some plays. You see in the back end, what I tell you about them young guys. I told you about them young guys, they're some studs. They made all the plays tonight. I believe each one of them had a pick. Literally 35, 23, 6 help with a pick. That was probably the best play of the game, the tip to the interception. Man, y'all keep playing with these young boys if y'all want, man. They gonna keep on showing y'all. I told y'all in camp, I vouched for them in camp, and I'm gonna keep on riding for my dogs.
Frank, you're the top 5
You guys
guy.
got after Joe Burrow right from the start. What was different about tonight's game than the other games you played against him?
Me being healthy,
Is it that simple?
that's simple.
Being in the top 5 in career postseason sacks now, I know it's a team game, but I mean, you're up there with Hall of Famers and earn that nickname Playoff Frank. What's that mean to you to play your best football in the postseason?
It's a blessing, you know what I mean, just to be able to go out there, be healthy, compete with some of the best. Compete with some of the best players in the world, and just continue to go out there to show, continue to go out there and show why, we are the best at what we do here in the Chiefs game.
How do you compartmentalize just another game, do what you do that got you here to, hey, it's a Super Bowl? What could you share to the young guys?
Have faith. Never lose faith in yourself. When the world throwing rocks at you, when everybody doubting you and telling you can't do something, keep your head down, keep chopping wood, keep working, and everything that you want in life you're going to get.
All right.
Appreciate y'all.
There's Frank Clark live from the podium right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City. It's the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day. That is our parade of live content here on 810. We'll also hear from Andy Reid in a little while. Plus, we've got a ton of audio from the locker room. Beards, we're producing kind of live on it. We need to take a quick timeout. All right, we need to take another timeout, get our clocks right. Clock management's important.
I did some moving things around so we could get to Frank live.
You're right.
So let's do catching up.
You're right. Beards definitely, we didn't use a timeout, may have had a delay of game, but we needed to keep our timeouts for a little bit later on, so good call, Beards. We will go ahead and take a quick one, and then on the other side, we'll hear more audio from the locker room, plus there's just a lot to talk about. It was a great football game with a great result.
Steven is an animal.
Yeah, Steven St. John is an absolute bleeping machine.
He sent back, let's see here, 1, 2, 3.
I realize I missed some. He also
think
gave
about
us
10 players.
Yeah, minimum. Just absolutely chewing up the locker room out there. So we'll hear from a bunch of those guys throughout the evening as well. Plenty to talk about here again on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brought to you by Casey's own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
Family Leisure's inventory liquidation sale is happening now. Save hundreds, even thousands, on pools and spas at liquidation prices. At Family Leisure, all the summer stuff has to go. Backyard adventure play sets, gorilla basketball systems, trampolines, patio, deck furniture, and more. The season's best prices guaranteed. Mention 810 and save more at Family Leisure's inventory liquidation sale. Family Leisure is your one-stop shop for family fun. K10 and Ridgeview in Olathe.
913-888-7727. Awesome.
Possibilities is here to open up doors for individuals with developmental disabilities. Katie's been coming here for a couple of years, and her last job experience left her with some anxiety and really just lack self-confidence to go out to the job market. Because Subaru of Olathe funded 1,200 working hours for our students at local events, Katie gained her self-confidence and now has the new job that she loves.
Seeing the impact this partnership has made on students like Katie is amazing. It's been wonderful teaming up with Possibilities, and we look forward to the continued partnership.
Frank Bowl here from my friends at CBD American Shaman. You've heard me talk about my experience with CBD products. If you struggle with pain, anxiety, sleep, or lack of energy, visit your local CBD American Shaman about the benefits of high-quality hemp oil. And if Kansas City scores big, you score big discounts. Kansas City puts up 30, it's 30% off. 50% off your order of $100 or more the day after the game. Only at CBD American Shaman. Life is better with a feather.
The NFL playoffs continue on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Touchdown! Kelsey down the near sideline.
Your home for the NFL playoffs and live coverage from Arizona of Super Bowl 57. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
NFL playoff coverage is presented by Shamrock Roofing and Construction, Barstool Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino, Worth Harley-Davidson, Marine Sales Lake Viking, and Greenlight Dispensaries.
Need to update your furniture? Menards has the furniture you need in stock. Plus, you get a free rug. That's right. Buy any upholstered living room furniture at $299 or more and get a free 5x7 area rug. That's $149.99 in savings. Need a new chair? How about a sectional, a new recliner, or love seat? Buy one today, get a free rug. Hurry up, get to Menards before they're gone. In-store only while supplies last.
Save big money at Menards.
It's a bear for Kansas basketball.
Kansas City's home of the Jayhawks, March Madness, and the Final Four. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Harris for a fifth three. Why not? Thorne Harris is in fuego.
Tuesday at 7, the Jayhawks face the Kansas State Wildcats. Kansas basketball on Sports Radio 810 WHB is presented by Harry's Liquors, Amini's, and Xfinity.
Home shows provide homeowners the deepest discounts of the year on remodeling projects. And for one more week, Window Nation is bringing home show savings right into your home. Schedule a free, no-obligation in-home demonstration today and lock in this incredible offer. Pay no interest for 60 months, plus get 2 free windows for every 2 you buy. You don't just have to imagine how beautiful new Window Nation windows will look on your home. You can see it. Use their free virtual visualizer at windownation.com/home show. Upload a picture of your house and try out hundreds of options online. Get design tips from the experts and learn how Window Nation's trained installation specialists have helped over 150,000 homes with over 96% satisfaction. These once-a-year home show savings end after this final week. Call Window Nation today at 866-90NATION or go to windownation.com/home show. Pay no interest for 60 months. That's 5 full years and get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. 866-90NATION or online at windownation.com/home show.
Only a few more shots left to win big on the playoffs with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Counting down to Super Bowl 57, new customers can bet just $5 and get 200 in free bets instantly. Not a new customer? You can feel the conference championship thrills with stepped-up same-game parlays. Take your shot at an even bigger NFL payout and boost your winnings with each leg you add up to 100%. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code 810WHB. New customers can bet just $5 on the conference championships and get 200 in free bets instantly. That's code 810WHB, only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 800-522-4700. 21 plus, physically present in Kansas. Bonus issued as free bets. 1 boost per eligible game, opt-in required. 10 plus leg required for 100% boost. Deposit, parlay, and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-478-6688. That's 1-800-478-6688. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-478-6688. That's 1-800-478-6688.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
From the 36-yard line of Cincinnati, from the gun, Burrow, step, throw, deep shot on the way. It's knocked up and picked off the bounce. Williams steps in. Brian Cook got a piece. Kansas City takes over.
An outrageous, nay, an electric play from the rookie duo right there to take the ball back from Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. That's good for our electric play of the game, brought to you by Bickmer Electric. From small jobs to big jobs, the Bickmer team knows how to take care of your commercial and residential electric needs. That's Bickmer Electric. It's also been electric on the Twitch chat as people are trying to bet over-unders for how long tonight's show will go. Also, really appreciate the Twitch commenters noting that you and I both also have a radio show here that starts at 10 in the morning. So we're going to be here for a while. We haven't talked to Matt Derrick yet. There's a bunch of audio we haven't brought yet.
We still have Andy Reid to get to.
Oh, we still have Andy Reid to get to. In addition to all these locker room pieces and everything. Also, I was going to say another shout out because I really do appreciate and love and enjoy the growth of our Twitch community and all the different video streams. If you want to watch the show, you can see me dancing around. You can see Beards whenever Beards flips the camera around, and you can watch the pressers when we're carrying those live. So another shout out to ReapZZ is Pro or Reaps. I don't know how you need me to pronounce it, sir or ma'am or whatever. But they've come through with 30 gifted subs tonight, which if you know how Twitch works at all, that means a lot to us over here on the, especially me and Beards, as I really feel like the little Twitch chat is kind of our baby. And then now it's gotten to an age where it's like, I don't know if I want to be responsible for all the things that this 16-year-old does, but here you go. Welcome, world. Here's the 810 Twitch chat. But the Twitch, the YouTube, the Facebook, and the Twitter users that watch the show, it's just a fun way to add a little more excitement. It's a good place to commiserate in the rare down times as a Chiefs fan, and it is a great place to celebrate with other Chiefs fans from around the world in their various chats across all the socials. Of course, you can always listen to the show at 810WHB.com and the 810 mobile app. Or after the show, if you missed the whole thing, you can check it out in the podcast page at 810WHB.com, the mobile app, or wherever you get your podcast. You can find it. A lot of ways to enjoy the show, and I hope you've been enjoying it tonight. We've certainly been enjoying it. I took the unprecedented step of having a mid-postgame show sandwich. I don't think I've done that since the Super Bowl winning postgame show when we were eating full meals at 3 a.m. because it was 3 a.m. We won't be here that late tonight, but God, we still have a lot to talk about. Beards, how you feeling? You made some faces just then, like you were remembering some haunting memories.
Oh, I was just having non-flashbacks over here. I'm good, though.
It was crazy.
They were good non-flashbacks.
Yes.
But it was at about 4 o'clock in the morning was when I was like, okay, I need to leave now.
4 is when I remember thinking boy, if Nate or Steven wanted to just get here early today by an hour, I could use it. But we have no energy issues today, and we'll have no energy issues in 2 weeks when we're doing another Super Bowl post-game show. Woo! How wild is that? Might not be as wild as this clip from Frank Clark. We've gotten Frank Clark and James Palmer combining for some classics over the years.
So, when Palmer tweeted this out, he said he asked Frank one question and then just let it ride.
Well, let's hear one question and answer with James Palmer and Frank Clark.
You just had a long embrace with your head coach. What did Andy Reid just say to you?
Man, we did it. We did it. You know what I mean? We had to come back out here. Last year, this time, same team sent us home, man. Very disappointing season. I don't know who the hell they think they was calling this Burrow head. I don't know who the hell they thought they was talking about they was going to finish us off. They'll take their bum ass back to Cincinnati. Man, they came to Chiefs Kingdom and got their ass stomped on. I don't know what number one did. I told him to holler at me. I don't know what the bank. I told them all holler at me. I told them last year they didn't get my best. I told them this year they barely got my best. I told them with the playoffs though, I'm the king. They gotta holler at me every game. Let's go.
The question was, what did Andy Reid say to you? You heard Frank Clark also say when we were carrying his full presser a little bit ago. You heard him say that the difference between the last time and this time was that he was healthy. Simple as that.
He was sweating it up there on the podium.
In the post-game podium. Not just on the field.
He had a towel and was wiping himself off every chance he could get, and he was still sweating all down the front of his shirt.
Playoff Frank Clark, man. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Like, I mentioned earlier, I don't really want to talk about the Chris Jones, long-term contract implications right now. I don't really think that's the place to be. I don't really want to talk about Frank Clark's trade and contract and then a great run when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl and then what he's been around that. The context matters in some cases, but post-game show for tonight's game, it doesn't really matter. At least not right now. But this year on the slightly reduced deal, when he has been out there, he's been really good as a contributor, which you got to have a bunch of in the NFL. I don't mean that to be a backhanded compliment. And then in the playoffs, there's been blood in the water. That's where the nickname comes from.
You smell blood?
I smell toast. I am I am becoming disoriented. My blood sugar was high and then low, and I think we're about back in the middle now. We're good. But I'm tired. I got tired watching Chris Jones, who Frank Clark took the appropriate amount of time to make sure he was talking about. At one point, I watched Chris Jones. I really tried to focus on him 3 or 4 plays in a row. And by the end of it, I was like, oh my God, that must be exhausting. Which I know is only the most obvious thing that anyone could possibly see and say while watching one enormous man push 2 enormous men back into one slightly smaller man. Is that, yeah, of course that seems exhausting. But man, that dude's just doing it every single play. We played you the clip there from the highlight from Jalen Watson and Brian Cook combining for the interception when he came back from the break. I want to hear from Jalen Watson as Todd Lebo caught up with him on the field right after the game.
Rookie, you come in here, you make a big play, you're going to the Super Bowl. Can you explain this? How do you feel right now?
I'm at loss of words. I can't even explain my emotions, my feelings. Best moment of my life, though, man. I'm just so grateful, blessed to be here, be in this position, be in a position to help my team win. It's just a great feeling.
Such a hard-fought game. LJ went down early. You guys had to shuffle around and make plays against these big wide receivers. What was it like throughout the game to just kind of keep battling?
They have great wide receiver core, but it's no longer Burrowhead, I guess. They enjoy their flight home. We'll see them again next year. Talk is cheap, and sometimes it come back to bite you in the butt.
Tell me about your interception on that play.
Oh, yeah, we're in man. I was just outside leverage, and he kept trying to get my leverage. I didn't let him get it, and I seen through my man and seen the ball coming, and I just went up and got it.
And your other rookies, B. Cook with the chip and Josh with the interception. I mean, you guys have got to just be on cloud 9 playing this well in this game.
We're definitely going to enjoy our night. It was a great night. It was a good night to be, one of the rookies, Fab 5. Never been done before, but we're just blessed to be in this moment. We're going to soak it all in and enjoy it tonight.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, bud.
There's Jalen Watson with Todd Lebo. You can hear the party bumping in the background. And man, I really just don't think you can overstate it. And I don't think you can overstate it for Steve Spagnuolo and Dave Merritt. Excuse me. For Spags and Dave Merritt. I already had one cup of tea today. This is also an unprecedented postgame show on a lot of different levels. You can't overstate it from the coaching side. You can't overstate it from Brett Veach and the scouting crew. This team, and they traded up to go get a corner in the first round this year in Trent McDuffie. So they've done it multiple ways. But this team has displayed a repeatable, consistent ability to just find young dudes to play corner and to coach them up. And by the playoffs, they're playing like veterans. They got a body type, the measurables that you look for. And then they just find whatever those tools are that they've identified, give them to the right coaches, and it's one of the biggest profound savings that I think exists in professional football. Lots of teams are going to try to find different ways to do it, right? If you can get a quarterback on a rookie contract playing really well, that is obvious. That's the cheat code. But if you can find a spot on your roster that you can fill out with 4th and 6th and 7th round picks, and they're playing superb football, and again, they traded up for Trent McDuffie, and I loved that pick, and I still do. His ceiling should be higher than the rest, I suppose, right? The skill set. Maybe he's just more pro-ready. If he was just more pro-ready, these other dudes, Watson and Williams, they're just made of arms and legs. They just go forever. Lanky dudes that stride with the best of them. Coached to a point that they're hanging with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And again, Brian Cook really makes the play on the pick there that Watson had. And Brian Cook had been burnt. He had been penalized. This is what makes it a team game. I just don't know that almost anybody had a perfect game. Chris Jones might have. Or at least close enough to it that I'm not trying to nitpick. But these guys lost reps because the Bengals are a great football team. And they were able to bounce back and make their own plays and then make the last play. That's what this game was going to be. We knew that coming in. This game was going to be who makes the last play. The Chiefs made the last, 5. Wild. Also here from the field with Todd Lebo. He caught up with Chiefs safety Justin Reid, also making plays of his own today.
That's what you came here for, right?
This is the whole reason I came here, to be a part of this, man. This feeling is unbelievable. So excited, so happy for everyone on this team, this organization. And we're not done yet. We got one more to go.
Hard fought, man. All
Very
the way to
hard
the
fought.
end.
Tooth and nail. I mean, the last 4 matches. What up, what up? Last 4 matches come down to a field goal, man. We came out on the right side of it this time.
How about your kids, man? These rookies out here making these plays.
Telling you, man, to see the growth that they came from where we started in training camp, to see J. Watt with the pick, Josh with another pick, B. Cook giving the assist to Josh. You know what I mean? This is the whole reason why we got those guys to come here, man, why we drafted them. We got them ready. Coaching staff, Spagnola, Coach Merritt, all did a great job just having us prepared and fired up to come play today.
And then Legarius went out early, had to shuffle around some pieces. What was that like?
It takes everybody. It takes everybody, man. I mean, Willie went down 2, LJ went down. The next man came up and stepped up. That's exactly what we need in order to go win the big one that's coming up here in a couple of weeks. We're going to need everybody again. So we saw those guys go down and just added more motivation that we doing it for them. We doing it for them. We got their back in it. We're going to go out and get the win, give them another chance to come strap up again, too.
Congrats, buddy.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Justin Reid, live from the field. I guess not live. That was earlier today, but live with Lebo. Todd Lebo catching up with Justin Reid.
At some point.
At that moment, that was happening in real time.
You see what a recording is.
Yeah, it's complicated. I'll try to explain some of that. Beards, could you explain that to me during the break, actually, please? I'm largely very confused. That's Lebo with Justin Reid. It also is, I think, still just the start of our locker room report. We're going to have some more that Steven St. John got from the locker room with a bunch of other guys, including some of the special teamers who stepped up and made plays today. I'm including Sky Moore in that because there was a real elephant in the room and also standing on my chest when I saw him back there to return the punt. You got plays, like Justin Reid said, it takes everybody. So that's at least the midway point of our locker room report here on the 810 Postgame Show.
The Chiefs Locker Room Report is brought to you by Twin Peaks. No one does football like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, they have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out an adventurous drink menu, second to none. And don't forget about their 29-degree man-sized drafts at Twin Peaks.
We got to take another time out of our own. We got a few to burn here in the second half. On the other side of the break, more audio. We got to talk to Matt Derrick. We got to hear from Andy Reid. A lot of moving parts here. I don't think anybody's going to be too hurt if we run a little bit long here tonight because the Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl. We're coming back with more post-game action right after this.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brought to you by Casey's own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
If you're trying to make plans for your next couple of weeks, I got a couple suggestions for you. First of all, maybe go ahead and orient yourself over towards the Arizonan region because, yes, indeed, Kansas City is going to Phoenix. And I mean that almost literally. I wonder if the entire city might not just uproot itself and march on over to the great Southwest and enjoy a little bit of all that area has to offer. But again, if you're looking to really up your game day, if you need tickets to the big game or hotel travel packages, go to bullseyeeventgroup.com. The Players Tailgate, hosted by Bobby Flay, is the #1 rated event on game day. 60-plus active NFL players, celebrity chefs, with all you can eat and drink for 4 hours leading up to the game right across from the stadium. So make your game day great. Go to the Players Tailgate hosted by Bobby Flay. For tickets, go to bullseyeeventgroup.com. That's bullseyeeventgroup.com.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. It's our mission to be the automotive home of drivers in the Kansas City area. We provide a vast selection of new and pre-owned vehicles, exceptional car care, and customer service with a smile. Fantastic customer service doesn't end when the sale does. Our dealership also staffs a fantastic on-site auto service and repair center. Whether you're a first-time buyer or have years of experience, Victory Ford can help you. Stop by at the Legends or online at victoryfordkc.com, where our first price is better than their last.
The other day, I bought a cockatoo. He's a handful, but I'll manage. Just like I manage without home internet. Sure, my mobile hotspot is slow and makes streaming shows unbearable, but I'm making do. Oh no, who's this?
It's mating season, Dad!
No home internet? It's not that bad!
Don't settle. Get Xfinity Home Internet for just $19.99 a month for 1 year with a free streaming box. Call, click, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Offer ends 2/21/23.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back just for buying the gas I was going to buy anyway.
But is it a hassle to use?
No, it's super fast and easy, and I can cash out whenever I want.
That's a total no-brainer. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LIFT for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code LIFT. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LIFT for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LIFT.
The new year is here. Time for a change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand IT field with My Computer Career. In just months. Already in IT? Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus. And financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
Hey, it's Grunny here for my friends at CBD American Shaman. Do you struggle with pain, sleep, anxiety, or lack of energy? Well, who doesn't? Visit your local CBD American Shaman and let them educate you on the benefits of the highest quality hemp oil available. And when the Kansas City football team scores big, you score big too. If Kansas City puts up 50, that's right, it's 50% off your order of $100 or more the day after the game. That's huge savings. CBD American Shaman. Life is better with the feather.
Not everyone can climb a ladder or spend all day on an uneven surface climbing to new heights. That's why God created a roofer. Someone who gets up before the morning light, works all day in the hot sun or bitter wind, and still makes it home in time to catch the kids' ball game. That's why God created a roofer. The kind of person who is most at home with a hammer in their hand and love in their heart. They believe that a team can do just about anything. That's a Shamrock roofer.
Receding hairlines, bald spots, thinning hair, many try medications, foams, special shampoos, or supplements. But the best method for restoring your hair is simple. Transferring your own hair follicles to the places you need them. I'm Dr. Jeff Markey with Ascentus Plastic Surgery. We perform hair transplants with cutting-edge ARTIST robotics to get the single best result for each patient with the least amount of downtime. Contact Ascentus Hair Restoration or visit kansascityhairtransplant.com for a free consultation. Surgical precision with hair restoration performed by plastic surgeons only at Ascentus Hair Restoration.
Went for it 12 times during the regular season on fourth down, got it 9 times. Moving pocket, Mahomes looking, right side, throws, end zone, touchdown, Travis Kelce! Patrick Mahomes with a strike, and he delivers. 14-yard score, and the Chiefs add to their lead. Travis Kelce with his 15th career playoff touchdown, tied with Rob Gronkowski for the second most all-time. Hall of Famer Jerry Rice, number 1 with 22.
Truly rarefied air for Travis Kelce. It's Jerry Rice 1, Travis Kelce 2 for a whole bunch of records in the playoffs now in the National Football League. Kelce certainly deserving of all of those accolades. That right there was beautiful. In fact, it was sweet. It was Andy's sweet play of the game, brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Stop by any KC location for Travis Kelce's 87 and running concrete and help raise money for this worthy cause. 87 and running and Andy's Frozen Custard, the perfect option play for KC fans everywhere. We now go from the 87 and running portion to the Andy's portion here, as Andy Reid took the podium after the game to talk a little bit about the AFC Championship, once again belonging to Kansas City, going to their 3rd Super Bowl of this era, but they're 1-1 right now. So this one's going to be the rubber match to see if the Chiefs can bring home 2 Lombardi trophies in a very, very, very short window of time. It's a heck of a time to be a Chiefs fan. It's a heck of a time to have Andy Reid as your head coach. We'll get to him right after this.
Andy Reid is presented by Robert Brogdon Buick GMC and Robert Brogdon's Olathe Kia. Visit BrogdonAutomotive.com.
We start from the top with Andy Reid talking about the Chiefs' numerous injuries, giving the updates on those, and of course, his opening statement and thoughts on the game the Chiefs just won to punch their ticket to Glendale.
All right. So L'Jarius Sneed, as far as injuries go, he had the concussion, and then Kadarius Toney's ankle. He tweaked that. Juju Schuster, that knee acted up on him from the week, and then Mecole Hardman gave it his best, and as did all these guys. I mean, tribute to the work ethic. Pat out there doing his thing. Kelce, who missed the last day of practice, all that stuff. So I'm proud of them for everything they've done. Great for the city. Our fans were unbelievable. Bucker, I mean, what a redemption story. He comes back and after a high ankle sprain has kind of moved his season a different direction that he wanted for a period there, and he came back and just knocked it out. Sky Moore, who had the drops early, was called on to go out there and return, and he did a great job with what ended up sealing MVS. Had a nice day. As did all the receivers. We only had 3 of them, so by the end, so they all did nice. Our young secondary, 2 of them got interceptions, and 6 helped cause the interception for 23. So I mean, it was a great deal. Chris Jones had an unbelievable game, along with Frank Clark. I mean, constantly in the backfield, and just busted their tail. I mean, what a performance they had. So, and I mean, I could keep going. I'm sure I'm missing people here, but I'm proud of all of them, man. They did a great job. So, anyways, with that, time's yours.
He's right to take it from that angle, and he's also right, I'm sure there are guys he didn't mention just then that probably would have deserved a mention in any other game, but you just saw a bunch of dudes step up. A bunch of guys from all 3 phases. It's the kind of thing it takes to beat a really good football team in a really big game. And the Chiefs came out victorious just by about the slimmest of margins. All of those guys he mentioned and many more all deserve all of that praise. I also just saw, I'm Joshua Brisco, Beards McFly on the head of the glass, Dylan Michaels producing as well. around the building, and Dylan chops up all the Andy Reid audio. Been doing it this season, and I just saw on his post-game show, post-game audio notes here. Wait, hold on, Beards. Are you going to claim this as yours, or is this a Dylan joint right now? I want to make sure I give out the appropriate credit.
That was not me. I haven't touched this document all day.
I haven't either. I opened it up right as we were getting here, and I saw the header for this section, which is labeled Chiefs versus City that puts noodles in chili. Appreciate all the work Dylan's been doing all season long. We get him for one more game over here. Get to bring Dylan into the Super Bowl postgame show experience. God, I hope it's a fun one and not a sad one. Anyway, next up here from Andy Reid, talked a little bit about Patrick Mahomes' performance, bum, ankle, and all.
I think I did. You just didn't hear me. I mean, we can't replay it, right? Like the commercial. Can't do that. Herbie, doggone it. Yeah, so but listen, it was pure grit. He and Kels. But for Pat to do what he did and then to have that run at the end, I can't say enough. He is the MVP in my eyes.
Pure grit for the MVP. Just no reasonable argument for anybody else. I've been impressed by Jalen Hurts. I love good players. Like that's I'm not really in the football watching space to be a hater for no reason. Like I love watching Joe Burrow when he's not playing the Chiefs. I love watching Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert and Josh Allen and all those guys. There's only one MVP for this season. It's Patrick Bleepin' Mahomes. This one's easy. Don't make that one harder than it needs to be. We've heard a lot of players talk about a lot of talking coming out of Cincinnati over the course of the week. They kept it under wraps pretty well, at least until Friday. Definitely until Friday. And it started to bubble. You started to see they didn't appreciate.
Then they started bringing it out.
Yeah, they didn't appreciate the Burrowhead and all of that. Well, now it seems like about half of the locker rooms picked up a real nasty cigar habit because from what I could tell, literally, not just figuratively, but like it smells like cigar smoke in the bowels of Arrowhead right now from some of the reporters out there on the ground. And so I've heard a lot of players talk about this, but what did Andy Reid think about all the trash talk from Cincinnati?
Yeah, listen, our guys did a great job of not going that direction. Their mayor said it all, and so I'm glad our mayor just did what he did, and some people heard it.
The mayor did what he did, or said what he said. What was the holy bleep? I did see I don't know if I mentioned this in the show, if I just saw it in a break earlier, but the mayor of Cincinnati did tweet something along the lines of quote tweeting what Travis Kelce said, and just quote tweeted it with, "Yeah, I deserved that," and then his thanks to the Bengals and the city and all of that. It seems like he's playing along, but man, he got some bad advice and a bad script and some rough delivery. And look, you can talk bleep. Just when you talk bleep and lose, you get talked back to. That's kind of how it works.
There may be more to that in the future, it turns out, because as B.J. Kissel has tweeted out here, the Cincinnati mayor's opposition candidate has a lot of ammo to use with how fired up the Chiefs were after those comments.
I mean, look, are
you going to vote for a guy that cost your team a chance for the Super Bowl? I don't think so.
I don't know much about him, the man as a mayor. I don't know his politics or anything. I didn't get quite that deep into it. But yeah, it feels like he probably made his next few months a little harder on himself than it needed to be. But again, that's the consequence of talking. Talk if you want. Everybody should be allowed to talk. I thought it was okay for Justin Reid to talk before the first Bengals game this year, even though he wasn't here for the previous Bengals games. You can talk, but then you can't be tuna in a can. We've covered that, This week, Cincinnati's mayor was tuna in a can. Oh, God, Beards. Oh, I just realized something horrible. Oh, no.
What'd you realize?
Oh, no.
What is it?
All the food bets, Beards. The worst thing happened. Cincinnati's going to send their garbage chili to us. They lost.
Was that how that one would work?
Yeah, because think about it. If the Chiefs lose, we would have sent our barbecue to Cincinnati, which would have been like, we've got to pay for the barbecue and send it over there to you guys.
I feel like this should go the other way, where it's like you have to eat. The other side has to eat our stuff.
Well, but our city's food is good, and so if you're Cincinnati and you win the game, you also want the good food. But if you're Kansas, I want every politician who made a food bet on this game from Cincinnati I want them to just bankroll like free barbecue for Kansas City for a day. Like, you don't have to pay for shipping. Just give all of us a gift card to like our Kansas City barbecue joint of choice. Cause I don't want to eat your gross chili. And I don't want to export any more of our barbecue.
So we have a Twitch comment here that I think would solve all of this.
Okay.
Just have the Cincinnati mayor pick up our barbecue tab.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's perfect.
Everybody go to Joe's, get as many French fries as you can and burnt ends, and then just Venmo the Cincinnati mayor.
Yes.
And it's all good.
That's exactly what we need to do. Because I don't necessarily want that skyline. But
I want barbecue.
I would love some barbecue right now. We got to figure out how to switch that up. Anyway, sorry, I got hungry and distracted and started thinking about good food and
you think
bad
Joe's
food.
delivers at 11:34 p.m.?
If they don't tonight, I mean, when would they, you know?
Hey, Joe's. I'd like a burn ends. I'd like a burn ends dinner. Side of fries. No pickles, please. I don't need no pickles.
I'll take the pickles. Just put it on the side. Put my name on them. If anybody
and a cherry Pepsi.
If anybody wants to just drive by, I got the door to the studio on the balcony here kind of cracked open.
Just throw them up.
Yeah, one at a time. If anybody wants to just come out to the balcony here at 810 and then just throw burn-ins up onto the balcony, Beards and I can take turns. Like, you know, in a commercial break, I'll come out there and I'll just open my mouth and you can try to throw one in from the ground floor. I feel like we should be able to accomplish this. This probably ends with me, like, going too hard and falling off the balcony, like, diving to catch a burn into my mouth, but that would also be pretty funny for everybody who's not me.
Spirit of Rudy will see if we can make it to the tree.
I definitely think Rudy could make it to the tree. Back to Andy Reid. Sorry again, the hunger. Andy Reid here talking a little bit again about the team's resilience altogether on that drive after Mahomes tweaked his ankle again throwing.
Yeah, I would say yes. I mean, first of all, that's a great football team, and they've done a heck of a job there turning that thing around. That quarterback is a heck of a player. So, but for our guys to grit up like that, it was beautiful. Beautiful thing to do and do it at home.
It is a beautiful thing, and you talked about grit a couple of times. Like, that is what it is. You can't just be tough. You have to be tough and talented, tough and disciplined and talented and executing and well coached. You got to be all of that stuff to be back in a Super Bowl again. But the grit of it all was a mandatory part of this game today. In this case, it's not just like, oh, what do you say about a bad team that tries hard? Oh, they're tough, they're gritty. In this case, the Chiefs had no other choice, which is also a point of getting everybody else involved. Just absolutely crazy. Beards, do you have another Twitch comment you wanted to hit real quick?
I do. It's from P. Green Pilgrim, in reference to Skyline Chili. They call it chili. I know gravy when I see it.
But I like gravy. You know what I mean? Like, it's why just calling it Skyline is good, because it's kind of an extra category.
When you throw someone's Cincy chili, it's called assault. They also follow up.
When you eat Cincy chili, I think it's assault on your taste buds. And perhaps digestive system.
Do you want a fun little stat just very, very quickly?
Yeah, very, very quickly.
Joe Burrow has played in 7 career playoff games. He has not thrown a single fourth quarter touchdown.
Woo!
Anyway.
I'm not about slandering Joe Burrow some, but I still kind of like Joe Burrow. And now he doesn't hold any power over you.
No, we don't like Joe Burrow.
He doesn't hold any power over you anymore now. It's not like
don't matter.
He's not really the villain anymore. Like, he's beatable. That's fine. You don't have to like Joe Burrow. I've already told you. I try to like a lot more people than I dislike. It just sort of makes my general demeanor a little easier on myself, psychologically. Being a hater 24/7 is exhausting. Chiefs made it easy today. I just get to be excited about what the Chiefs did, because that was stupendous. Back to Reid on Mahomes here. He talked about Mahomes giving Andy any signs or good feelings at practice this week that he would be good to go when the game came around.
Well, he gave me no opportunity to not think that he wasn't going to play. I mean, he never missed a snap, and I just our players, our team, coaches, we're all lucky to have him in that position, and the mindset, that whole mindset. So it carries over to everybody. And there was no denying that he was, I mean, you know, there was no question he was going to play. So.
Was there a moment where you maybe put him on the practice field that led you to believe he was going to be okay tonight? Not just play.
Yeah, well, I mean, he went out and practiced, yeah. So, I mean, he pushed off of that thing and, you know, he did all the stuff. And he lived in the training room. Rick Burkholder and Julie, I mean, the job that they did with him of getting him ready and him spending all the time, you know, I'm sure he went home and his wife was probably working on it too. So, I mean, it was everybody taking concern for him.
All of that came together to where, look, it clearly was a factor, at some points more than others, but the fact that he was out there with the high ankle sprain, there were a couple times where he did not have the burst to escape up the middle, but at the end he had one good run in him. That was enough, and just a tremendously gutsy performance, which was true, again, across the board here, as Andy Reid talked about the players who were able to step up after the injuries just over the course of the game.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, the perseverance, I mean, that's important in this game. The toughness, mental toughness is such a big part of this game, and to get to this level here, I mean, this is pretty spectacular to be able to go back, and quite an honor. And the Hunts gave us an opportunity to do that, which is so important. And give the coaches an opportunity, give Mark and Veach an opportunity, you know, myself. So, and all the players, they put us in a position where we can go succeed, and that's you know, and all the guys did a great job. Brett with the guys that played tonight. I mean, what a tribute to him and his staff for all the great things that they've done with these players, young guys. I mean, who would have thought this at the beginning of the year, right? I mean, I'm sure you all, you know, wrote about it somewhere along the line that we had a lot of new faces, and for everybody to come together like that, you know, that's satisfying as a coach.
It's got to be, man. I'm like, what a story from point A to point B. I've talked about that tonight. I talked about this again right after the draft, man. It wasn't a question of, is this the way to build a defense, or how is it going to come together? It was a question of, when will this come together? If it does at all, will it be too late? And really just like, what will the development process look like? We talked about that a ton, and I was doing it as a believer because I really liked the way that they totally revitalized this defense with youth. But it was risky. Getting to this point that they were at tonight was no guarantee that you're going to have 3 rookie cornerbacks and a rookie safety making huge plays and just living on the field in this game. None of that's guaranteed to work out the way that it did. It really is a huge testament to the scouting and front office side, to the coaching side, and of course to the players themselves. Next, Andy Reid was asked about going back to the Super Bowl, and this time against his old team in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I had a great time there. So 14 years, a long time, huh? And I'm happy for them. I'm happy for the city. They're passionate. They love football. I mean, I can't wait till Kansas City and Philly clash. It's gonna be awesome, man. I mean, what a great Super Bowl it'll be.
It really should be. I do believe that Andy Reid's got almost nothing but good feelings towards the way Philadelphia panned out. He was there longer still than he's been in Kansas City. He's been here for a long time. But he's right that matchup of just fan bases, I'm excited, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. 2 teams that have been there before, fan bases have been there before, but such good vibes around both of these teams, man. I thought that Eagles team was super likable. I was prepared to be excited for their opportunity, and now, of course, I don't feel quite as fondly for them as I did maybe perhaps 6 hours or so ago. But, man, it'll be a blast in the Andy Reid and the Kelsey Brothers Bowl. A lot of storylines to unpack over the next 2 weeks. This is also another conference championship for Andy Reid. He's obviously got the NFC side, and then now 3 trips to the Super Bowl and 3 AFC championships here in Kansas City. He was asked about the feeling of this championship versus some past ones.
Yeah, I mean, being out there was unbelievable. There's nothing like winning the championship at home. I mean, that's just a special feeling. You and not that the Super Bowl's not. I don't want to say that. That's a pretty good feeling too. But to be at home and do it, it's unbelievable. So I'm riding a wave right now, as you guys are, and I'll calm down after I leave.
I mean, you can hear the energy there from Andy Reid, and being able to win that game at Arrowhead, has to be just an outrageously cool feeling.
Excuse me, it's Burrowhead.
Not anymore. The naming rights have moved. It was because it was GEH8 Field, then it was Geehaw Field.
It still is Geehaw Field.
So it's, a lot of the naming conventions here are very much up for debate. One thing that's not up for debate is the fact that they were successfully getting to and bringing down Joe Burrow, the merciful end of some truly terrible narratives. But what did Andy Reid think about getting to Joe Burrow today as opposed to matchups in the past?
Yeah, so I mentioned this to Dan after the game, and what the players were talking about the game plan, the defensive players, and how they loved it, and they just thought it was going to work and just they couldn't wait to get out there. And I mean, I kept hearing that over and over, and that listen, Spags did a heck of a job with it, a phenomenal job with it, and his coaches and the players executed it. It was fun to watch. I have a bird's eye view of it, and they were rolling.
Cool. You're all right. That's okay. I was quote tweeting a tweet from Sam McDowell that you were making me aware of during a clip a second ago, Beards, where one player in the Chiefs locker room said, "Burrowhead D's almonds and peanuts and legumes of various sorts." And I was just going to tell you that I was quote tweeting that by asking, "Why do you think Tommy Townsend said this?"
I mean, if anybody was going to say it.
That's what I'm thinking, right?
Him and Butker just sitting in the corner cackling.
I think
They're 12 years old, and they've said their first dirty joke.
That might be.
And they're just cackling to each other.
That might be right. One more here from Andy Reid. No more locker room quotes. Actually, we'll still bring you some locker room audio tonight as well as we continue to shuffle through all the good stuff coming out of Arrowhead. Last thing here from Andy Reid talking about the Kelce versus Kelce Super Bowl. Obviously not just knowing Jason Kelce through Travis Kelce, but coaching both of those guys in both of these spots.
No, but I've vested time in both those two, so I feel like I'm part of the family.
There you go. I don't know if the question was about if he was, feeling a little pride or whatever there, but altogether, heck of a matchup for a whole bunch of reasons. Again, we'll have 2 weeks of breaking down all the narratives in this game, and I'm really, frankly, right now I'm excited for it because I just think this matchup's going to rule for a whole number of reasons. But ultimately tonight, go ahead and light your cigar. Go ahead and rename your stadiums. Go ahead and celebrate the fact that once again, and man, this moves fast, the Chiefs hadn't been to the mountaintop in 50 years. Then it starts to feel like something you could almost, if not literally, bet on. And they get to the Super Bowl against the Buccaneers, fall short, tough game to watch. They get back to the AFC Championship game, this Bengals team keeps them from getting back there again. I imagine this is a universal feeling amongst Chiefs Kingdom right now. Feels good to be back.
I just want to say very quickly, there's an SB Nation tweet here. I just love the headline of it. Travis Kelce calls Cincinnati Mayor jabroni after viral social media video. I just love the headline.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. It just is. It's just wonderful out here. We're having a good time on the 810 WHB Postgame Show. It's all brought to you by CBD American Shaman. When Kansas City scores, you score big at your local CBD American Shaman. Our team's score is your % off. They scored 23 points tonight, so you get 23% off all day tomorrow on orders of $100 or more. As at CBD American Shaman, life is better with the feather.
I have one more. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You're the one telling me to break.
One more Twitch comment. My 3rd grader heard Burrow and realized it is Spanish for donkey and called him Joe Donkey all game.
3rd grader, you said?
3rd grade.
Tell your 3rd grader thank you. Because, frankly, I think maybe they deserve a game ball.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brought to you by Casey's own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
If you're going to make the trip out to Arizona for the big game, you got to do it right. You don't want to get out there and then realize that you don't actually have your plans to make the most of what could be a truly incredible weekend. So I got good news for you. As Kansas City prepares to head to Phoenix, if you need tickets to the big game or hotel travel packages, I can make this real easy for you. One-stop shop at bullseyeeventgroup.com. That's bullseyeeventgroup.com. I got to tell you about the Players Tailgate. It's hosted by Bobby Flay. So far, so good. Seems like this is going to be delicious and also a pretty good time. It's the #1 rated event on game day. 60-plus active NFL players, celebrity chefs, with all you can eat and drink for 4 hours leading up to the game right across from the stadium. So go pregame for 4 hours. Go ahead and jaunt on over for the big game and get ready to enjoy what could be a truly incredible one out there in Glendale. That's all the way to make your game day great by going to the Players Tailgate hosted by Bobby Flay. For tickets, go to bullseyeeventgroup.com. That's bullseyeeventgroup.com.
Family Leisure's inventory liquidation sale is happening now. Save hundreds, even thousands on pools and spas at liquidation prices at Family Leisure. All the summer stuff has to go. Backyard adventure play sets, gorilla basketball systems, trampolines, patio, deck furniture, and more. The season's best prices guaranteed. Mention 810 and save more at Family Leisure's inventory liquidation sale. Family Leisure is your one-stop shop for family fun. K10 and Ridgeview in Olathe.
913-888-7727.
Awesome. With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. I started my first business in the basement of a factory over 30 years ago. We had no heat and no air conditioning. Instead of customers, our office visitors were rats, birds, flies, and snakes. Our office flooded often, and we used blankets as our office walls. We were broke and needed help. That's why I created Patriot Software, to help small business owners with simple payroll for 1 to 100 employees. And if you need help, we will help you for free. Go to patriotsoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of payroll processing free. That's patriotsoftware.com.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
It's a new year at Hollywood Casino Kansas Speedway. Check out the all-new electric stadium games. And have you heard? The High Limit Table Game Room is now open. Hollywood Casino has the only sportsbook in KC. With more ways to bet and watch the game, Barstool Sportsbook is your best bet. Don't miss out. Visit HollywoodCasinoKansas.com.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. High Limit Table Games. Open select hours. See website for details.
Hey, Kansas City, have you tried the fan favorite Travis Kelce's 87 and running concrete treat yet at Andy's Frozen Custard? Made with the world's finest vanilla frozen custard and blended with Oreo cookie dough and caramel, a portion of the proceeds goes to Travis's foundation. So go top your day off with a smile at Andy's. Right now, they're serving up warm store-baked chocolate chip cookies, hot fudge, and their famous vanilla frozen custard as both a Cookie Casanova sundae or Cookie Casanova jackhammer treat. And when you go to Andy's Frozen Custard, tell them Stephen St. John and Andy sent you.
B&B Theaters, headquartered right here in Kansas City, is your family-owned and operated theater. B&B Theaters has great entertainment for the whole family this winter with January films Megan, A Man Called Otto, Plane, and Missing. The big screen is the best way to enjoy the magic of the movies. And B&B Theaters' luxurious recliners and food and beverage options make the experience unbeatable. Tickets, showtimes, and the chance to sign up for the free Backstage Pass loyalty program can all be found online at bbtheaters.com.
Stop in at Total Bowling Gear in Overland Park. Total Bowling Gear is the only superstore in Kansas City devoted strictly to bowling. With over 6,300 square feet of bowling products, Total Bowling Gear stocks all of today's leading brands in bowling under one roof. Come by today to see the world's largest selection in bowling balls, bags, shoes, and accessories, and speak with the most experienced staff in the metro area. So check out Total Bowling Gear at 6990 West 105th Street, just one block east of Metcalf on 105th. Or call 913-258-8333. That's 913-258-8333.
I'm here with Brad McGee from LBA Home Services. Brad, any New Year's resolutions?
Nope, not one.
Really? I would have thought...
What is a New Year's resolution, really?
Well, it's where you try to...
We both know it's a promise you probably won't keep.
But there's an intention...
Intentions are not as important as what you do. Remember, I work at LBA Home Services, and perfect is our minimum standard.
Right.
So when we make a promise, we keep it every time.
I see what you mean.
We say we'll install your heating and cooling system for a certain price. That's the price, down to the penny.
No wiggle room?
Perfect has no wiggle room. The plumbers and technicians at LBA, absolute perfectionists. Everyone at LBA thinks this way.
So, New Year's resolutions
are nonsense. If making a change is the right thing to do, we wouldn't wait until the new year to do it.
That's a good point. One simple idea, one name to remember.
Just remember LBA.
LBAservices.com.
A lot more shows still to come, just not all in this segment. Hang tight with us here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show, brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day. Joshua Brisco and Beards McFly still with you here on the other side of one more quick timeout before it officially becomes Monday morning. We'll talk to Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest. He joins us next on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show right here on your home for the NFL and for the Super Bowl. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brought to you by Casey's own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
Join the best in banking when you open your account with Central Bank. We're rooted in legendary customer service and have the tools to make banking easy. Our award-winning mobile app has more than 30,000 reviews and a 4.9 star rating. Experience it for yourself and see why our customers love it. We can't wait to show you how awesome it is to bank with us. Get started by visiting centralbank.net/betterbanking. Central Bank, strong roots, endless possibilities. Member FDIC.
The other day, I bought a cockatoo. He's a handful, but I'll manage, just like I manage without home internet. Sure, my mobile hotspot is slow and makes streaming shows unbearable, but I'm making do. Oh no, who's this?
It's mating season, Dad.
No home internet? It's not that bad.
Don't settle. Get Xfinity Home Internet for just $19.99 a month for 1 year with a free streaming box. Call, click, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Offer ends 2/21/23.
Menards is your home improvement destination. We've got everything you need for your projects, from ceiling to floor. Why settle for a boring ceiling when there's so many acoustic and decorative options? Armstrong ceiling tiles are the best way to elevate your style to new heights. They're easy to install and add a great new look to your home. Right now, save big money on ceiling tiles. Plus, check out all the great deals going on now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Listen up, sporting fans. Central Bank of the Midwest invites you to score a better banking experience with our new sporting checking account. Now you can show off your team spirit at the match or on the go with the official sporting debit card. Plus, you'll gain access to Central Bank's award-winning mobile app with more than 30,000 reviews and a 4.9 star rating. So, score big today by opening your sporting checking account at any of our convenient Central Bank locations or by visiting sportingchecking.com. Member FDIC.
It's time to imagine more for your business with smarter financial workflow solutions from Central Bank. We offer a full set of tools and people to make your business run smoother. Cash management and card services, payroll solutions, and loans tailored for you. Central Bank has everything you need to manage more than just your money, so you can get back to imagining even bigger possibilities. To learn more, visit centralbank.net/business. Central Bank. We do business better. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Home shows provide homeowners the deepest discounts of the year on remodeling projects. And for one more week, Window Nation is bringing home show savings right into your home. Schedule a free, no-obligation in-home demonstration today and lock in this incredible offer. Pay no interest for 60 months, plus get 2 free windows for every 2 you buy. You don't just have to imagine how beautiful new Window Nation windows will look on your home. You can see it. Use their free virtual visualizer at windownation.com/home show. Upload a picture of your house and try out hundreds of options online. Get design tips from the experts and learn how Window Nation's trained installation specialists have helped over 150,000 homes with over 96% satisfaction. These once-a-year home show savings end after this final week. Call Window Nation today at 866-90NATION or go to windownation.com/home show. Pay no interest for 60 months. That's 5 full years and get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. 866-90NATION or online at windownation.com/home show.
Do you struggle with pain, anxiety, sleep, or lack of energy? It's time for you to talk with CBD American Shaman's expert consultants about the power of high-quality hemp oil. And while supplies last, you can stop by your local CBD American Shaman location today to pick up the limited autographed Tim Grunhardt's book, View from the Center. While you're there, pick up some free samples, and they even have great products for your pets. CBD American Shaman. Life is better with the feather.
Hey, Kansas City, have you tried the fan favorite Travis Kelce's 87 and running concrete treat yet at Andy's Frozen Custard? Made with the world's finest vanilla frozen custard and blended with Oreo, cookie dough, and caramel, a portion of the proceeds goes to Travis's foundation. So go top your day off with a smile at Andy's. Right now, they're serving up warm store-baked chocolate chip cookies, hot fudge, and their famous vanilla frozen custard as both a Cookie Casanova sundae or Cookie Casanova jackhammer treat. And when you go to Andy's Frozen Custard, tell them Stephen St. John and Andy sent you.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. And at 2, tune into the program with Soren Petro. Kansas City's favorite shows are on your hometown radio station. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
WHB Kansas City.
We are tied at 20. 45-yard attempt. Looking for the lead. Buckner. Snap. Placement. Buckner's kick. He's got it! Kansas City in front with 3 seconds remaining. The Chiefs 23, the Bengals 20.
It's no longer the day the Chiefs punch their ticket to return to the Super Bowl because the clock has just struck midnight here in the greater Kansas City area. The Chiefs still going to Glendale, of course, but now it's the day after, Monday morning, here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show, brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day. Now joined by our friend Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. And his appearance is brought to you by Shamrock Roofing and Construction, Kansas City's local, residential, and commercial roofing contractors, where one call does it all. One call to Matt Derrick gives us a whole lot to talk about here because, Matt, I have to imagine that the location formerly known as Burrowhead was absolutely electric today.
Yeah, and I am right now looking out over GEHA Field, and I'm seeing a lot of confetti still on the field, and an empty stage, and some people. No one's actually really started to clean it up yet. So I don't know how long the confetti is going to be out there. So I guess if you're still in the stadium and you want a bucket full for a souvenir,
it's
a great down there.
It's a great souvenir, and also like if it's anything like how I treat my backyard, like there are still leaves from this fall just out back because like what else am I going to do with it? I think eventually the celebratory confetti's got to be good for the soil. I think I don't really know. I just on at least a karmic level, I would think that's true. But Matt, I really think there are a handful of spots you could start with today's game, but I really like to try to get your narrative of what you have in mind as you are prepared to retell the story of this game. Where do you begin when you talk about the Chiefs heading back to the Super Bowl with the effort that they saw tonight?
Gosh, this was an epic story. I mean, it really is. I mean, there's so many different storylines coming out of this and what happened. I mean, almost to the point where Mahomes and his ankle just seems like it was so, 3 weeks ago that it's not even worth talking about anymore. But Mahomes has an absolutely fantastic game, despite the fact that you could tell that he was not himself. He was certainly limited. There were things that he couldn't do. Yet in the biggest play of the game, he just did what he had to do to will his team to a victory. Was really impressed with, some other guys stepping up and seeing guys. I mean, I think Andy Reid even used the word redemption in the post-game press conference. There was a lot of redemption going on tonight. Sky Moore got his redemption. Harrison Butker, if he needed redemption, got it. Chris Jones, redemption for last year's AFC Championship game that, he said he dedicated this entire offseason to today's game. That to me is it. I mean, the Chiefs took a lot of the beatings that they have taken over the last 12 months and channeled it into this game. And you saw the result of that. They finally slayed the Joe Burrow Cincinnati Dragons.
Yeah, and it really, some of it feels kind of silly in retrospect now because these teams have really been neck and neck through these now 4 matchups. You wouldn't think, if you just didn't know the final score, you wouldn't think that this had been one-sided, lopsided, whatever it's been. But there was a lot of that post-game, both at the podium, some of the stuff we've already heard from the field and the locker room, and we're going to keep playing some more audio after we get done talking to you as well, because that's the kind of night it's been, is that there's just a lot of good bleep to sort through. But it felt like there was a lot of, and I took that personally, sort of energy from the Chiefs.
There was certainly a lot of that. I mean, although as the evening wore on, and I think that the players got closer to the podium and everything, there was a lot more emotion on the field. You could tell afterwards, and a lot more. I mean, Chris Jones was really the only one on the podium in the press conference room that really let anything loose about how that, hey, you can trash talk all you want to, but you can't insult Arrowhead. You can't insult GEHA Field. I mean, Frank Clark was definitely a lot more boisterous on the field about what was said this week and some of the language. And then after the game, he's like, yeah, if you listened to it, it motivated you, but I didn't listen to any of that. Frank Clark is a national treasure, but sometimes he backs a truckload up for us. But I mean, no, I don't think there's any. I don't think it was a deciding factor in this game. But there's no doubt that the talk coming out of Cincinnati, probably the mayor, had a bigger impact on the game than anybody else. That's just the hilarious thing, is that we're talking about a mayor's video being a factor in a game. But at the end of the day, I don't know that it really mattered. I mean, I think that the deciding moments in this game were, self-motivation. I mean, Chris Jones, I think, was more motivated by what happened last year than anything that's been trash talking in the last few days. I think that the plays that were made tonight, I mean, this is reflective, and it goes back to what you were really saying, which is that this is not a series of games between two teams that are blowouts. This is now 4 straight games that have been decided by 3 points, and there's 6 points separating these two teams. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it's unreal. And it just ended up falling this way despite all of these injuries that we've talked about here and there. I mean, you talk about the gutsiness or whatever, and I think you and I both probably have a similar, sort of skeptical tendency when it comes to some of the, trash talk, bulletin board material and all of that. And also, I think I have a little bit of skepticism kind of in my bones when it comes to, it's just next man up and team game and all that stuff. Because sometimes that's true, and sometimes you got to have the better players, and sometimes you're Georgia football, and saying nobody believes in us doesn't really do much for me anymore. But, Matt, Marcus Kemp was catching footballs at the end of this game. I mean, this ended up being, with Snead going down early, Willie Gay going down, Tony and Hardman and Juju, and there not being any Justin Watson to start. Like, just all outside of Mahomes, the number of different guys who legitimately had to step up in this game is something that I'm really not sure I can think of an example of something similar to that happening on a stage this big.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to getting to talk to Steve Spagnuolo about this game later this week because
me too.
Because I mean, to me, it was pretty clear from the handful of plays that L'Jarius Sneed was out there that Steve Spagnuolo had a plan. His plan was that Jamar Chase was going to have L'Jarius Sneed or Trent McDuffie on him all night long. Whenever, and granted, I mean, L'Jarius was only out there for 6 plays, something like that. But anytime that Jamar Chase was outside, L'Jarius Sneed was on him. Anytime he was lined up inside, Trent McDuffie was on him. I mean, they were flipping the field based on where he was and making sure that those two guys, because they wanted to be able to protect Jalen Watson. They wanted to be able to, have a guy on him that they protected and didn't want to necessarily have to double team either. And then you lose L'Jarius in the first drive, and now you've suddenly got to come up with a whole new game plan that includes Josh Williams, and now you're using Brian Cook a lot more too. I mean, I think Steve Spagnuolo had to come up with a brand new game plan on the fly. And what's amazing is that they did, and didn't seem to suffer from it at all.
Yeah. The shout out to Spags is my second favorite way to talk about the Chiefs defense tonight, because you mentioning that again, having to adjust all of that in real time that way, enormous, and not something that we've talked about, I don't think, any point tonight. The development of all of those young corners to be in a position where it wasn't a disaster when they saw the field, and frankly, kind of expected. Like Joshua Williams being the odd man out, if you will. He got a lot of work this season, and I think there was reason behind that. I still kind of look back on the Rashad Fenton trade with like just a little bit through my fingers over my eyes, because trading away good cornerbacks is not something I would do very often. And the Chiefs did that because there was total confidence in this group that they've got here. Like, even if we want to expand it to kind of all the rookies, you mentioning Brian Cook, that crazy play to force that pick. George Karlaftis got a sack and was out there a lot tonight. The rookie class here is something that I think we're going to talk about a lot this week, and my hunch is that they really deserve that too.
Yeah, I mean, it was up and down. I mean, Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams both get interceptions. George Karlaftis gets a sack. Sky Moore gets his redemption, and that punt return was absolutely huge. I mean, that's, to me, I think the three biggest plays of the game, were on that drive. I mean, Sky Moore's punt return, Harrison Butker's kick, Patrick Mahomes' scramble. I mean, that was it. Sky Moore, you can't underestimate the importance of that play. Isaiah Pacheco didn't have the game that you would expect from him, and, the Chiefs' inability to get the run going today. It's probably worth putting a pin in at some point, but we can come back to that later. But, it's up and down. And even at the end, I mean, you see Jack Cochran's around the football at the end, an undrafted free agent, making plays on special teams. These 11 rookies on this team have just been incredible this year. And the other thing about them is that even though I don't feel like Chiefs fans have really gotten to know them all yet, I mean, there's still a lot to kind of catch up and to figure them out. I mean, especially as they get a bigger role and they're more prominent, you get to hear from them more. They're all likable guys.
Yeah.
They all have good personalities. They all, for lack of a better phrase, have bought into the Chiefs way, and they're all Chiefs way kind of players.
I said that all that was my second favorite way to talk about the defense tonight. You've mentioned Chris Jones' name a couple of times, but I would just like to hear what you saw from the eye in the sky, keeping an eye on what 95 was doing tonight.
I will, for the remainder of this segment, be a Chris Jones fan account.
Yes, good. You're welcome here.
This, I've been fortunate enough. My first year in the Chiefs beat was his rookie season, so I've been fortunate enough to cover every game of Chris Jones' career. This was the best game of Chris Jones' career. I mean, he's had plenty of good games, plenty of great games, but this was his Monet. I mean, this was his piece of art. I mean, he was dominant throughout the entire game, and it wasn't just a passing game. It was a run game too. I mean, he absolutely, totally controlled the interior of that line. And even on the plays that he's not on the box score for, because, he doesn't pick up a sack or anything of that nature, he was still affecting the passer. He was still affecting the play. There's, Joe Burrow throws it incompletion down the red zone near the end of the first half because Chris Jones just absolutely plowed his guy into his lap. Yeah. Chris Jones was undefendable tonight.
Yeah. And just beautiful to watch. Absolute art. With that being said, Matt, Beards has got something. We go live to our Burrowhead correspondent on the field at Geehaw. Beards McFly. Beards, what you got for us?
This is a tease for later. This is more Chris Jones stuff. I was able to find this piece of audio that I was looking for that I had seen just a little snippet of. It's him on the sideline right after the game with James Palmer. And he is having some fun.
Okay, very good.
So we will hear that later.
The Chris Jones content machine doesn't stop. Plus, we're going to hear from, again, a whole bunch more of the guys from the locker room. We've already, Matt mentioned
if you thought he was some dude in the post-game press conference on the podium,
right.
That is not the case in this.
It did not not start that way. Fantastic. Well, we'll hear from McDuffie, Sky Moore, Harrison Butker, all of them, and probably some others later on as well. Before we let you go, though, Matt, is there anybody? I'm just legit not sure we've hit all the main things we have to hit from what this game meant. But was there anything else that has jumped out to you? Anything else coming maybe on ChiefsDigest.com sometime soon? Or
MattDerrick.com?
Or MattDerrick.com, too, my favorite website. That one's my homepage. But any other storylines birthed out of this that you just think you can't tell the story of another AFC championship without?
I mean, we talked about a lot of them. I mean, Harrison Butker, I think, was big. Sky Moore was big. The rookies were big. The defensive backs were big. Probably not talking enough about the offensive line and the job that they did tonight. Protected Mahomes pretty darn well. It wasn't always perfect, but they were effective at times. I wasn't a huge fan of the officiating of what was going on the interior.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty inconsistent, but I thought it was inconsistent both ways. Andrew Wiley, I thought got really called for a soft holding call, but then Orlando Brown did not get called for probably a more legitimate holding call on the Mahomes scramble at the end. So I guess it all balances out in the end.
Yeah.
But there's a ton. No, I mean, I'm going to have to going through the notebook tonight. It's going to be hard, especially because I think I'm now starting to wear off, and the caffeine is. After midnight, bad things happen, Josh.
That's right. Yeah, I was worried that I might turn into a pumpkin when it switched over to Monday morning. But I actually haven't sat down yet doing the show today. I had real good standing energy at the beginning of the show. We had some great calls, and I've just sort of felt like sitting down for any point of postgame tonight would really be an injustice, especially as someone who has two relatively healthy ankles. It felt like I should use them.
And I think after we get off here, I am going to have to shoot some video of what's happening on the field because there's no more cameras left. I mean, all the TV people have left. So now there's only like 6 or 7 people on the field, and 6 of them have apparently been tasked with cleaning up the confetti. And there's not a real good strategy. I'm not sure what the plan is. And every once in a while, a bunch of the confetti starts moving around, and I am not sure if it's the wind that is swirling it around or if somebody has like a weed blower or something, leaf blower.
Yeah.
I think it is actually the wind that's blowing it around, but this is. I'm looking at 6 guys, bless their hearts, that I think have no interest in cleaning up this confetti, and I do not blame them in the least.
No, it seems really cold and really uncomfortable to be doing that. But yeah, I feel like, you get one of those like backpack leaf blowers, kind of one of those Ghostbuster joints. Like I feel like that might be able to at least kind of blow it all into a corner, maybe, and then. At that point, bag it up and auction it off or whatever, right? I mean,
okay. Right now, I just saw a dust devil tornado of confetti that whipped up. So if I can get video of this, I mean, this is going to be fantastic stuff. But
this is why we go to follow at Matt Derrick on Twitter, ChiefsDigest.com, and yeah, maybe this is an exclusive breaking news live report for MattDerrick.com. I mean, the unofficial homepage of Matt Derrick, I believe the tagline once read, and maybe still does. Matt, I appreciate it. I can't wait for your more continuing and extensive reporting there of the confetti dust devils at Arrowhead, and look forward to talking to you Friday in the zone, and then again here one more time this season in a couple of weeks.
Can't wait, Joshua.
It's nice to know that we're going to have one more game guaranteed. Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com, intrepid reporter of confetti cleanups everywhere, and specifically the ones taking place on Geehaw Field. That one was just for beards. We'll take another quick timeout. On the other side of the break, we'll bring you some more locker room audio, and then I think Steven St. John is done sending us audio from the locker room. We only got like half the roster from him.
Well, let me ask you this real quick.
Ask me this real quick.
Do some producing on the air here.
Let's produce on the air.
So we don't have too many breaks left for the hour.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, we could do some stuff now.
Whoa.
We don't have to take a break. We can go for a little bit.
Well, yeah, let's go ahead and hit some of the ones that
you want me to play that Chris Jones audio that I have?
Oh yeah, let's do that at least because you've been pretty giddy about this basically since you saw it on Twitter.
It's
hours ago.
Somebody tag me and I'll see if I can figure out.
I'm also going to give one more shout out to the wonderful people that have been involved in the video streaming tonight. We've had great numbers all night. I know people are still watching. Some people have sort of like signed off to head to bed. I appreciate that as well.
Bunch of wussies.
But that was Beards. But we have seen so many good comments rolling through, and usually your best chance of getting those read is by Beards, because I got a lot of plates spinning in here. But I've been able to turn over my shoulder and to see a bunch of them tonight. And I really appreciate the absolute lunatics that continue to plug back in to the Matrix for this show after Chiefs games. It's a legitimate honor and a privilege, and I really appreciate being able to hear from the people that use all of our various chat functions and tweet in on Twitter as well, in addition to all the callers that we get. Especially on busy nights like this, we don't have time to open the phones back up after the pressers start, because the show is headed places after that. We're moving. It is a locomotive at that point.
We are like Chris Jones trying to get Joe Burrow, getting held back by about 3 different guys, and still getting there.
We are, more often than not, we still get there. But I really appreciate you all gremlins in the various chats. It warms my heart every time. Speaking of an absolute man on a mission, Chris Jones, where was this again, Beards, or who was this with?
This was after the game on the field. He's still got his jersey on. He's talking with James Palmer of NFL Network, and let's just hear it.
You know you guys had to get after Joe Burrow quick, and this one you were able to do it. The best in the game right here. This is the best in the game right here. Ain't no question. I know you wanted to get over the hump in the postseason, had a sack. You did your business today.
Yeah, I let my emotions all bottle up throughout the week. There's a lot of talking going on. I'm not really much of a talker. It's a full circle, 360, man. These are moments I prepared for all offseason. I dedicated my offseason to this moment last year when I missed 2 sacks to end the game, and I put it up on myself. This game, we're going to end it up front. And that's what we did. We got a resilient group in our room, starting with the D-line, and these guys fought through all night, man.
The last thing you said to us when you walked off the podium here at Arrowhead was everybody enjoyed Burrowhead. Did that motivate you all week?
Hey, let me tell y'all something, man. Don't ever, and I'm looking at the camera when I say this, disrespect Arrowhead. I don't care how many times you done beat us. Don't ever disrespect Arrowhead Stadium. And G-E-H-A!
I gotta ask you one more about what your quarterback did to essentially, with his legs, on one leg, get you guys in field goal position to win this game.
Hey, he fought hard, man. Fought hard, the whole offense. The whole defense, though. We ain't talking about the offense right now. We're talking about the defense. We're talking about the defense. That's what we do. And we back!
He's so right.
He was feeling it.
He's so right, though. It felt good to start the postgame show talking about him. It was kind of scary and also kind of awesome to be tweeting during the game that, hey, the Chiefs defense has done their job and they have gone above and beyond what you could reasonably expect from them as a unit. And the offense had not yet pulled their own weight. Everybody was hurt, but things are out of sync. It wasn't quite enough. And by the end, they got just enough from the offense, some sparks from special teams. It is a perfect and stressful team win.
Chris Jones, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hits.
And the crazy thing,
and about 15 uncalled holding calls.
That's the thing. Is that's a crazy stat line, especially for a dude who does most of his damage on the interior. Though one of those sacks was off the edge. You got a one-on-one matchup with the right tackle, and nom nom nom. Let me eat. But that stat line doesn't do him justice. This sport's so good, man. I love it. Let's stay on the defensive side. We've talked a lot about the corners, a lot about these rookie young guys, and Trent McDuffie, as we just talked about with Matt Derrick. Like it seemed like it was going to be he or Snead on Jamar Chase throughout the game, but then Snead gets hurt early on, and our own Steven St. John got in on the scrum around Trent McDuffie in the locker room to see what the rookie's first AFC Championship game felt like and how he's feeling as the Chiefs prepare to head to another Super Bowl.
Man, you go from being a first-round pick, then you battled an injury, and now you're out there in the AFC Championship game playing a huge part in a great defensive performance. What's going through your mind right now? You're headed to the Super Bowl.
Honestly, man, going into the day, I told all the vets this game was for them. This was my way to show appreciation, to show respect, to say, you know what, thanks for welcoming me into your locker room. Thanks for trusting me out there, and went out here and tried to do my job as best I can and came out with the win.
You know, nothing's easy. Snead goes out with a concussion, so all the young guys got to step up. It's not, you're not rookies anymore, but tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, shoot. I mean, all of us know that at any point, you know, in this game you can go down. And I think huge credit to Josh Williams on just going out there, all the confidence, say, you know what, I got you guys, let's get it. And there was 3 DB rookies out there. Shoot, B. Cook, including 4 on some down the distances where that's huge. That's special when you got a group of guys who can all stick together and say, you know what, we got each other's back. Let's go out there and do our best. And I think the world's starting to see it now.
You know, you have a physical style of play. You don't mind sticking your nose in there and making tackles come up. And it seemed like it was very physical in that fourth quarter. Can you describe what the tension was like and what the intensity was in that fourth quarter?
I mean, shoot. We had 15 minutes to get to the Super Bowl, and that was our mindset. And going on to that field, all we said was just empty the tank, no matter what. I mean, this is the only game we have, really. You know, this is win or go home, and I think everybody came together and did just that. Chris Jones gave us a little talk prep before we went to that final drive, and, man, you seen it.
What was that final talk like from Chris Jones? Because he sealed it with that sack, but what did he say?
Man, he just said this is time where you come and stick together. He said we don't point fingers no matter what happens at the end of the day. He said we're a brotherhood and we stick together, and everybody took that and said, let's do it then.
So what did you do during the field goal attempt? Did you watch? Did you look away and say, where were you?
No, see, we were all praying for a little bit on the sideline, and then I looked up and the ball was kicked. I heard the crowd, and I was like, oh yeah, jumped on the bench, started hyping the crowd up, and from there I don't know what happened, man.
Sure, how much did the game plan change with L'Jarius going out, unfortunately?
Honestly, it didn't change. You know, everybody came in, stepped up, and was like, look, we came into this knowing what we have to do, and so whoever comes in, like, it's your job to do what you got to do, and we did it.
Does it mean something to know that it's against them? Like you guys are all drafted to cover the Bengals, to cover a team like this. Does it mean more? Is it better? Is it more gratifying feeling because of that?
Yeah, honestly, I think, especially just how the game went out today, and just seeing all 4 of my brothers out there who came in with me. We've been through all of this, you know, training camp, you know, learning plays. It was special, especially when they had that tip pick, and I was just like, man, you don't see this very often, that you can draft 5 dudes who come in and they're all just ready, hungry, willing to work, and it's just a special thing to see.
How are you going to celebrate this tonight?
Man, I'm going to go home with my family, chill. I don't know what we're going to do, but I ain't to kick my feet up because my body hurts, bro.
Hey, man. Hey, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's honest, man. I have to imagine that game puts you through it. And really good stuff there from Trent McDuffie. He's right, dude. I mean, the number of rookies, again, 5 of them playing a ton on defense in this game. And that's not counting Leo Chanel. I have no idea what his snap count tonight was. I don't remember seeing him out there a bunch. I imagine he got some work. I really don't know. Matt Derrick mentioning Jack Cochran, a undrafted guy who's gotten thrown into the fire a little bit here and there. It is a mandatory part of the conversation to give credit to the coaching staff for getting the most out of those guys. But man, what a special group to get that crew of rookies here in Kansas City. I know I'm a broken record on this, but this class, from the scouts and evaluators and Brett Veach to the coaching staff, Steve Spagnuolo, Dave Merritt, like absolutely tremendous molders of young defensive backs, as far as I can tell. Dudes have been incredible. And then the players themselves, to be in the position to make that play. McDuffie mentioning again the Brian Cook tip to Watson. It's an NFL street play. Like, I know that's my only reference in the history of the world. Like, I go to that more often than anything else because I grew up playing NFL Street 2 obsessively. I can now play it again in adulthood because I got it ported on my Steam Deck. I've bought the retail copy of that game at least twice. It really is something you do for style points. And Brian Cook just made a perfect play on the ball. And we played the highlight a little bit ago. Like, it felt like it happened in slow motion because it was just perfectly executed, and then Jalen Watson was there for it. This kind of thing is not normal. On, like, every level. It's just not normal. Blessed to be the constant we have here in Kansas City. Offensively, the growth defensively, it's just tremendous. Do you have something else, Beards? Are we good to go to Sky Moore?
I was going to do something that led up to Sky Moore.
Well, let's help me with the segue then.
Do you know how many yards Mahomes had throwing the ball in this game?
I couldn't tell you. I could not. I could check.
What would
okay.
No. What would you guess? You don't play the dumb game that I do.
Sure. No, I'm guessing that I'm guessing he was in kind of the mid 200s if I had to throw a dart somewhere in that range. But I know it was over 100 to MVS, I think 70 to Kelsey, and then not a whole lot after that. So I'd say something like 250.
326.
Where those 75 yards come from? Isaiah, you know what? I skipped Isaiah Pacheco, who had like 50-some yards.
So it was...
I don't feel too bad about that guess when I remember what I forgot.
So I'm going to do the dumb thing where I just read the box score.
Do the dumb thing.
It's kind of fun to look at.
It is.
It's Noah Gray 1 for 4, Juju's 1 for 7, and because he left early. It's Kadarius 1 for 9, he left. Hardman 2 for 10. Sky Moore, who we hear from Sec 3 for 13. Kemp 1 for 13. McKinnon 2 for 17, and then it's Pacheco 5 for 59. Kelsey 7, 78, and a touchdown, and then MVS with the Sammy Watkins game.
Yep.
6 for 116 and a touchdown. And it's just a really funny-looking receiving group, and he just throws for 320 yards. Meanwhile, Burrow had 270.
What was your... Well, I think you said this to me in the talkback during pressers, that MVS had more receiving yards than Chase and Higgins combined?
So Chase had 75, and... No, Chase and Boyd. Boyd had 40.
Okay, got it.
So they had
because Higgins,
they had 115 combined, and he had 116.
Chase and Boyd had 115.
Correct.
MVS had 116.
Correct. T. Higgins had 83 yards.
That makes sense. Okay, got it. Very good. Well, then let's do it. Let's hear from Sky Moore, who not only got involved in the offense.
Thank you for letting me read the box score.
You're so welcome. Look, I think you can pretty much get everything you need from the box score. I mean, Seth Kaiser just felt a disturbance in the force.
I was surprised when I looked at that and saw he threw for 326 yards.
Me too.
Yeah.
No, me too. That's how I felt. I think it was the Raiders game where he threw for like
man, this offense is really struggling today.
Yeah.
And that is like, he threw for 320 yards?
No, that really is. Again, it's what you need all the parts of all of this. It's why, like, watching the game matters. It's why the stats can be interesting. It's why the advanced numbers can tell a story.
Don't look at the rushing numbers, by the way.
2.1 yards per carry. Is that where that one ended?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something we can talk about later in the week. We're still in post-game mode.
You want to know who the leading rusher for average was in this game?
Just for the Chiefs or for both teams?
For the Chiefs.
It was either McCole Hardman.
It was McCole Hardman, 3.5 yards per carry. And he did it twice.
Bleep. I was wondering if there was any chance it was Mahomes, but
he was second.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Okay, I would have gotten the one too. His 5-yard long didn't necessarily. It wasn't a 15-yard scramble, but yeah, the running game wasn't exactly the bright point in this one, and we'll figure out.
Previous week.
Yeah, we'll figure out what that means and why that happened. We'll get there later on, but there's a lot of good stuff to talk about right now. And it's not just Sky Moore getting more involved in the offense. It's also him just showing up back there, returning punts, and hot bleep.
Had a good one.
Had two good ones.
Had a huge one.
One came back from a penalty. Another one was spectacular. Sky Moore looked pretty good back there. So let's hear from number 24 and a real redemption moment for him after some very, very tough moments early in the year.
How's it feel to be headed to the Super Bowl?
Feels great, man. I'm trying to. This is my first Super Bowl. Trying to hopefully get my first one under my belt.
And it's been a long road with you as a punt returner. And then you're out there in the fourth quarter of the AFC Championship game, and you come through with a big punt return. What does that mean to you?
It meant everything. Like it was just like you said, I had a long road to get there. So. Not only just the return, but just catching that thing. So once I caught it, I know what I can do with the ball. It's just I got to catch it, and I focused on it, reeled it in, and made a little something happen.
I mean, look, that's a storybook ending, at least to get to the Super Bowl. How difficult was it to regain your confidence and bounce back to where you could be in this position in this game tonight?
It was everything. That confidence, I learned by being back there, the confidence is everything. If you think you're going to drop it, you might drop it. So when I went back there, I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm about to catch this. This got to get caught. I done dropped 3. So, being confident is the number one thing I think, and my teammates helped me. Dude right here, you know what I'm saying? He's telling me, you gonna catch it, you gonna make a play, and you know what I'm saying? There's power in words.
And what's that mean to you? So, some coaches may not have given you that another chance that you had tonight.
Right.
For Dave Tobe and Andy Reid to believe in you and put you out there, what's that mean to you?
It means everything. Everybody believed in me. Yeah, I didn't believe in myself at one point. I didn't want to be back there, but they kept putting me back there. You know what I'm saying? They kept putting me back there, and it just got to the point where I was like, if he believed in me, why I don't believe in myself? You know what I'm saying? So we definitely had a roller coaster road with the punt return situation.
But I mean, that blows my mind. How do you get over that when you say you didn't believe in it? You didn't want to be back there. How did you get over that hurdle?
I had to stop telling myself that. I didn't really mean it. You know what I'm saying? Just because I dropped a couple punts, I'm telling myself I don't want to be back there. I really do though. I want the ball. Anytime I can get the ball, I'm trying to make a play happen. So, I just really had to buckle down and, have that self-confidence.
How intense was that in the fourth quarter? That was a very physical football game. Seemed like that was two teams that didn't like each other with everything on the line. What was that like to be out there in the fourth quarter?
Just another chippy playoff game. Just being able to go against another good football team. It's going to get like that. So you just got to buckle down and stick to your guns.
Were you watching the field goal attempt? George Karlaftis said he couldn't watch, so he looked away.
I need to watch.
You got to watch.
I was watching. I stepped up on the bench. I need to see every. Right. I need to see his. I need to see his whole drop.
You need to see it all, then, right?
I need to see his whole drop. Everything.
Before it went through.
Facts.
So what went through your mind when that final second ticked off the clock and we're going?
It was just crazy, I'm looking at other people like McCole. He's thinking his reaction is a little different than mine. I'm like, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. He's on some like one more. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we got to get it. I've been to the Super Bowl, so it's not nothing new for this franchise. So it's one thing to go, but we got to go win it.
And the receivers got tested. I mean, Marcus Kemp was out there and made a play. I mean, there was a lot of injuries. You guys, the depth was tested. What's that say about your room?
It says that we're a deep room because we came out on top with that.
Congrats.
For sure. Thank you.
Stephen St. John with Sky Moore, really tremendous stuff there. Both ranging from him not believing in himself as a return man to today being out there really helping this team go back to the Super Bowl. As McCole Hardman's over there saying, hey, we got one more, but a lot of these guys, and really everybody, it seems like really kind of appreciated this game tonight for what it was, because this is a huge, huge achievement. They got 2 weeks to get locked back in, and I mean, you don't have 2 weeks to get locked back in, of course, but you got 2 weeks before the next game comes around. I'm glad these guys, especially these ones who haven't experienced it before, are soaking it up. Seeing Carlos Dunlap on the stage holding the Lamar Hunt Trophy after just beating his original team that he was with for a decade or so. So many of these guys, again, a veteran like Dunlap here for the first time, rookies like all these dudes we've mentioned. I feel like we've mentioned the entire draft class a few times tonight, rightfully so, of course. Rookies experiencing it in their first year, and then guys like Justin Reid, who aren't, Dunlap veterans, but also have been in the league for a while. when we were playing Lebo with Reid on the field a little bit earlier in the show, Justin Reid says this is the whole reason that I'm here. It's for these games and these moments, and the Chiefs defense especially. Really, I mean, everybody seemed like they were ready for this moment when it arrived. Even a guy like Sky Moore, who might not have been ready for that moment earlier on in the season. It's pretty cool. One more here for now, at least. We may take a quick timeout. We may we'll see where the show goes from here. But I want you to hear from Harrison Butker as well. Again, Stephen St. John prowling the locker room and getting to hear from a whole bunch of guys. And I'm sure they'll play even more of these back tomorrow on the Border Patrol. And by tomorrow, I mean today. And by today, I mean in 5 hours and 20 minutes. It's a good day and a good night and a good game and a good show. And every time I look at the clock, I'm surprised by how late it is, which also might mean that we definitely need to wrap before 1, right, Beards? We definitely can't push past that.
I think 1's our out time for tonight.
I think that seems reasonable. But with that being said, I don't want you to have to wait until 6 o'clock to hear Steven talking to Harrison Butker, who had another chance. We're going to talk about redemption, a guy whose season started with an injury that clearly bugged him. Questions about the whole operation and kicky leaks and all of that. Harrison Butker tonight jogs out there and sends the Chiefs back to another Super Bowl.
I grabbed him immediately because he hit it.
How's it feel right now? Your game-winning kick to go to the Super Bowl. It doesn't get much better than that, right?
No, it doesn't get much better than that. Definitely the biggest kick of my career. Just such a blessing. All glory to God that ball went through, and I tried to keep the faith and keep pushing. Obviously, it was a rough year. Had a lot of misses, but so thankful that we were able to make that kick to get us to the Super Bowl.
The conditions didn't seem great. So how far did you feel comfortable? Where were you good from, you think, tonight, going in that direction?
55. Yeah. In the warm-up, 55 was about my limit. I think it was windier than what the flags look like up there. The wind was in the face, left to right, and then also when it's cold, the ball's just super deflated and just doesn't travel that far.
So you mentioned some of your struggles now. It seems like you're back in the rhythm. What has gone right to get back in the groove?
Yeah, we've had a good couple of games now. That's a good question. I think I struggled a little bit at the beginning just trying to figure out how to kick now with this injury, right? Anytime you injure yourself, you have to kind of go back to square one and figure out how do I kick now, and I think it just took me longer than I would have liked, but now I feel like I'm in a rhythm and I'm hitting the ball well in practice, hitting the ball well in the games, and it just took a little while.
As soon as you hit it, did you know? Was there any doubt when it left your foot?
I knew it had the accuracy. I didn't know if it had the distance. It felt good. I'm like, oh, that's good, and then the ball just kept floating and floating, but yeah, it went over. So,
hey, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It really is full circle for Butker. Again, his season starts with an injury. Even once he gets back, which takes longer than I think anybody really expected, because the Chiefs didn't put him on IR, right? So I mean, that whole thing was sort of a bit of a drama factory, and then he's back for that moment here tonight, sending the Chiefs back to the Super Bowl. Pretty cool. I just mentioned Carlos Dunlap a little bit ago against his old team, and he's headed to his first Super Bowl in his first year with the Kansas City Chiefs. Here's Carlos Dunlap with Stephen St. John from the locker room.
Hey, man, I asked you last week what it would be like to finally get to the Super Bowl. What's going through your mind right now?
Trying to find my family, enjoy the moment, be present after I hit this hot tub, cold tub, because, that's my routine post-game. And we got another game, and it's a privilege to have this opportunity. Resilience prevailed.
And the defense was a big part of it. Made some big plays, got that final stop. That's got to feel great.
That makes it that much more sweeter. The defense having a day like we did today, us as a team getting the win, beating my old team. There's so many different bullet points you could target for this, but we got it done today, and now we have the opportunity to play another game.
And that's why you came here, right?
This is why I came here. This is why I'm here, but we won, and we're not done.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Carlos Dunlap from Cincy to Seattle to Kansas City, and now finally heading to a Super Bowl. Got to, keep his tub routine on point because he is a longtime veteran, but ultimately, it really is. It's a great story for guys like that who haven't been to the mountaintop over incredible careers. He's got 100 sacks now. That's crazy. But his greatest season as a pro from a team perspective is happening right now. We mentioned with Matt Derrick, it wasn't the running game that you wanted to see from the Chiefs across the board. That's certainly true. But also, I really did come into this game wondering if Isaiah Pacheco would get involved in the passing game as well, just from a matter of personnel groupings and trying to keep the Bengals guessing and Mahomes needing to dump it off. But you also want to make the Bengals believe that you could just hand the ball to Isaiah Pacheco. He was not any sort of brutally effective on the ground. That was just a challenge for the Chiefs' entire running game.
That was a challenge for everybody on the field.
It really was.
Unless your name was Joe Burrow.
That's a good point, Beards. I mean, Pirine and Mixon did nothing to write home about either, and it's not like either of these teams were trailing a lot.
Joe Burrow led the game in rushing yards at 30.
Boy, that's disgusting.
30.
Yeah, and Pacheco was second with 26. And obviously, nearly half of those from Burrow came on that quarterback draw, just right down the middle. Actually, you know what? I don't know that was his longest run of the game, because the one where he
had one long run that was 14 yards. I think that was that. Was that the planned one?
No,
or was that the scramble? Where he juked.
Yeah, well, don't say anything you can't take back, Beards. Podcasts live forever. I actually think that the draw...
This is terrestrial radio, baby. There's nobody recording this. Nick Bolton got trashed. Look, a recording file.
Come on, man. They're going to the Super Bowl. I don't want to bleep talk tonight.
He was not good on that play.
That's fair. I bet he would agree with you. I think that draw, the designed one, I think went for like 10 or 12 yards. But it says the long was 14. I don't know. I don't remember what was what. But yeah, the draw... And then he had the play where, look,
he needs ankle insurance.
There's no shame in getting beaten by Joe Burrow in a de facto Oklahoma drill. I mean, no, there would be shame in that? Okay, well. I'm not here to say negative things tonight, Beards. The defense as a unit was tremendous.
It was excellent. You want to hear from Pacheco?
I do, but this was all just to hype up the fact that he actually got involved in the passing game. I think this has to be career highs for him through the air. 5 receptions for 59 yards. I have to think I'd remember if he gotten even close to that previously. I think he had a couple of games recently with 2 receptions, but I'm not sure he had. Are you looking up game logs right now? You went straight there, so I'm stalling now, but I think he might have had a 20-ish yard performance, like a 2 for 18 type of day. But certainly no 5 for 59, and he was making plays with the ball in his hands however he got it. In fact, it's something that I wouldn't mind seeing more of in a couple of weeks because he looked good in space.
His high in receiving yards was against Seattle. He was 1 for 2 for 32 yards. Before that, it was the Denver game in week 13. No, on week 14, where he had 3 for 23 yards.
Okay, so there you go. So career highs for Pacheco through the air, and he was also like hunting and pass pro and everything. He's going to be a really complete back. I really like watching Isaiah Pacheco play, and I like hearing Isaiah Pacheco talk. Here he is with Steven St. John.
Here, and they're proud, man. They're out there excited about it. I can't wait to get back to them. Thank you.
Isaiah Jarrett Brown, USA Today.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man. Rookie this what you expected, right? Go to the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir. Day in and day out, we put in the work to get here, and for me as a young guy, just look at the leaders and continue to build off of the energy that they bring and the mentality and the mindset. For me, today I just went out there and focused for 4 quarters and chopped. I had physical and mental toughness throughout. I eliminated distractions and tried to focus on my job as hard as I can for 4 quarters. There was ups and downs, but for me, just continue to listen to the play and allow the play to come to me.
When you think about your quote-unquote humble roots into the NFL, and then the see that you have been a major contributor to this, how do you put that in perspective? And I know it took a lot of people to get here, but you had a major role in this.
Like I said before, it's the accountability that we bring to one another. It's all out there on the field. When we work, we work. There's no ways around it, but most importantly, when Pat's the leader, we look up to him, and we got to continue to build so we could get the goal that we want to accomplish, and that's...
You say he's the leader.
Yes.
What's that mean to you to see him out there on a bum ankle and still performing at such a high level and helping leading you guys to the Super Bowl?
That's extreme accountability right there. He loves us and he loves his team. Most importantly, he's playing for all of us, and we can't thank him much for that, but to build off of it and continue to push this continue to push this what we got going is going to build.
What was your mind? You watching him this week in practices, like just to see how he moved and what you had seen from him before?
No, I know he was good. I just focused on my job to do whatever I have to do to protect him.
There were some tough yards there in the fourth quarter, and things were real physical. What was that like, being out there in that game where it was, one-score game for the championship?
He said he was going to make plays.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Say it again?
Just what was that like out there in the fourth quarter? It was a tough physical game. Yards are hard to come by, back and forth. Just what was that mindset out there in the fourth quarter?
2 hands on the ball. Get first 4 yards. 4 yards to win the down. That was my mindset throughout it. Just 2 hands on the ball, and whenever I bounce up to get in the O-line's faces and tell them, we're rolling here. There's no letting off the gas. Let's strain to finish.
What did you do during the field goal attempt? Did you watch? Did you look away? Did you hold hands with someone? What did you do?
Yeah, I went and hold hands with a couple of my teammates, and we knew it was good. I knew it was good. I seen Buck. He practiced it, and it just reminded me to practice the same routine that we do, and day in and day out, it's continue to show.
You didn't feel good to shut them up after all the trash talk, the Burrowhead, and everything they said, and then you end up winning the game finally?
Absolutely. When it's all said and done, it shows for itself who worked hard and who played for each other at that moment out there. And, we came on top, thank God, and we just continue to build off of that, and there's more to come.
On the play where you blocked Hendrickson coming out of the backfield, and you really had a good collision, then Patrick threw you a little screen pass, and then Hendrickson caught you in the open field. I mean, was that the kind of play that this game was, that intensity?
Always going to be physical against these guys. They definitely played really hard, and for me to do whatever I had to do to get the job done, and that's what was focused extremely hard and allow Pat to do whatever he had to do to get the job done. So for me, continue to be myself and allow this thing to take us where we're going.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Isaiah Pacheco from the locker room with SSJ here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We might have time for one more. We want to go to George Karlaftis. Let's do that as well. Steven was out there just scouring through the locker room, and we brought you a whole bunch of stuff all day long, or all night long here so far on 810. It'll continue tomorrow again. The Border Patrol in the morning, I'm sure Steven and Nate and Marco and the gang will have a lot to sort through in the audio front from the locker room, plus just everything we saw here in the game tonight. We'll leave some of it for the Border Patrol in the morning, but I want you to hear from George Karlaftis, yet another rookie stepping up and making big plays in the AFC Championship game.
So I talked to you last week about the chance to go to the Super Bowl. Now you're going to the Super Bowl. How's it feel?
It's unbelievable. It's a blessing. Words can't describe what we're feeling right now as a team. It's awesome. It's a blessing, but the job's not done yet.
Once Snead went out and Willie Gay went out, there's a lot of rookies on that field, man. What was that like?
That's a blow when you have playmakers like that go down, but it's next man up. Not rookies or anything like that, but it's just next man up regardless of who it is. So that's our coaches and our vets do a great job preparing everyone.
One of the reasons they brought you in is to get to Burrow. You got to him, you had a sack. Chris Jones, Frank Clark, it was a great performance by the defensive line. Tell me about that.
Everyone got after him. Nadi got after him. Carlos got after him. Mike got after him. I mean, I don't know if am I leaving. Brandon got after him too. I mean, Colin. I mean, everyone got after him. I hope I didn't leave anyone out, but we all got after him. That was our game plan going into it, and I think we did a pretty good job at doing that.
Can you describe that fourth quarter as far as level of intensity compared to anything else that you've experienced with the Super Bowl on the line? And it was
the highest stakes football I've ever played. Roller coaster, absolute roller coaster of emotions. I don't know how Harrison does it, but It's awesome. God bless him, man.
What did you do during the field goal attempt at the end?
I couldn't watch it.
So you didn't watch it?
I couldn't
So
watch.
What did you do? Did you look at the crowd for the reaction? Like, what did you do?
I just kind of looked down and was hoping and praying, man.
Right. And then you heard the crowd.
I heard the crowd, and I knew.
Okay.
So I knew we had 3 seconds to go also, too.
Right. So how are you going to celebrate tonight?
Probably go home, smoke a cigar.
Yeah. Frank Clark was already smoking a cigar at the tunnel. That's a baller move, right? That's a veteran. You're a rookie, but still, Frank Clark is smoking that. What do you say about that?
I didn't have one on me.
Yeah,
I would have.
Oh, you would? Hey, congrats, man.
Thank you.
He's right, man.
I think they heard all the talk, you guys.
I think they may have noticed that the Bengals are a cigar team. What do you think the evolution of party items is going to be in locker rooms? Like, it was champagne for years. Now we're in a real cigar era. Hashtag legalize it. I mean, what are you thinking? He's right. He went through the roll call of all the guys that did provide pressure to Joe Burrow. And look, not the entire defense got a sack. But when you're talking about the benefits of a complementary pass rush, it demands things like telling an offensive line, hey, you can't just devote all of your attention to Chris Jones because the rest of us are going to get involved also. You can't just put 4 hands on 95 and then trust that the rest of this offensive line is going to hold up. You got to win from other places. And it's also not just, can one of those guys go hunt down Joe Burrow? Clark did it. Karlaftis did it. But what does it mean for Derek Nottie to add to the pressure, leading to someone else either getting the sack or just hurrying a throw? That's the one thing. It's why Chris Jones, rightfully, and I believe him, doesn't really care about his playoff stats all that much. It's because there's a lot more meaningful ways you can impact a football game. And I really think you could probably make a case that no less than 30 players made meaningful, positive impacts for the Chiefs tonight. I don't know how close to the full 53 you could get, but it's pretty darn high when you've got the entire wide receiver depth chart on the field at one point or another. You have an offensive line trying to protect the most hobbled version of their quarterback that they've ever blocked for, save for the second half against the Jags. You have Chris Jones playing in a game, the redux of which has haunted him, the previous version, for an entire season. He put them on his back. This has been the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show, brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day. And, of course, Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com is brought to you by Shamrock Roofing and Construction, where one call does it all. Appreciate everybody for being along for the ride this far into the season. And I was a little worried at some point that this might be how we sign off for the 2022-23 NFL season. But that's not the case.
Don't gotta worry about it.
We'll talk to you in 2 weeks because the Kansas City Chiefs are headed back to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 57, Chiefs-Eagles, right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll talk to you on The Zone at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Till then, bye, Mom!
Stephen St. John here for Kansas City Credit Union. Open a kids saving account in 2023 and be entered for a chance to win a new KC Edition Monopoly game. Help kids learn to plan ahead, set goals and priorities for their money, and it provides a place for allowance, birthday money, etc., and they can watch it grow. And it's also an opportunity to learn about different financial terms so they can get more familiar as they get older. And you'll be entered for a chance to win the new Kansas City Edition Monopoly game. So for more information, visit kansascitycreditunion.com/810sports.
Your chronic pain, anxiety, and other ailments don't take the weekend off. And neither does Relief Resources Dispensary. In addition to our extended dispensary hours, the drive-thru is now pulling an all-nighter for you every Saturday night. That means for 30 consecutive weekend hours, from 10 a.m. Saturday morning until 4 p.m. Sunday afternoon, you can find non-stop relief at Relief Resources Dispensary. Just order what you need online from one of the largest selections in the state, and it will be ready within minutes at Relief Resources Drive-Thru. Of course, medical decisions should not be based on advertising, and you should always consult a physician on the benefits and risks of